Hi everyone, my name is Monique.
And I'm Naveen from Before You Play.
And today we're going to be doing a playthrough of a game called Anachrony.
Yes, this game is designed by Dávid Turczi, Richard Amann, as well as Viktor Peter, and is published by Mindclash Games. And in this game, we are going to be taking on the roles of different leaders of different paths, aka factions, that have survived after a major cataclysm wiped out most humans.
This game takes place in a post-apocalyptic world where the only surviving humans formed 4 different paths that don't really interact with each other. But the problem is, these paths were able to foresee the future, and they know that an asteroid is going to devastate the Earth. And so in this game, we're basically going to be trying to mine for resources, we're going to hire workers, we're going to build buildings, and we're basically just going to prepare for a large evacuation so that we can be the leading path for the rest of humanity.
So as you can see, it's a Euro game.
Yes. We're basically going to try to meet endgame objectives and score a lot of points. And so in today's gameplay, we're going to be playing the base game, just in case anybody watching is interested in just playing the base game version.
And we do have plans to feature another gameplay of this with the Fractures of Time expansion with a couple other modules as well.
Now, as per usual, we are going to start with a teach of the game, and then we'll go straight into our 2-player playthrough, and we'll end with a review. If you'd like to jump around, we'll include timestamps in the description below.
Now, if you can all do us a big favor and turn on your Klingon subtitles, just in case you make any mistakes, we can add those corrections there. Hopefully we won't need them, but you never know. Lastly, if you like these kind of videos and you want to see more in the future, please consider subscribing.
All right, and without further ado, let's get started. So, if you'd please direct your attention to the center of the table, we're all set up here for a 2-player game of Anachrony. Welcome to this post-apocalyptic world. Now, I know there is a lot going on right now, and so just to kind of give you the lay of the land, each player plays as a different path or faction. And so each player will have their own asymmetric player board. There are actually 2 sides of the player board, one that is all symmetric so that everybody could play with the same side and same sort of rule set. And then the other side, which we're going to be playing with today, which is asymmetric.
Yes.
And we'll be talking about our different asymmetries before we start the gameplay. Now, at its heart, Anachrony is a worker placement game. And so the way that that works here is because it's a post-apocalyptic world, there are 2 main environments in which you're going to be sending out your workers. One is the main game board, and this is sort of a very toxic, desolate environment. And so in order to send out any workers there, you will need to first put them in what are called exosuits. Now, these, I believe, are upgraded components. I think the bare base game doesn't come with these specific exosuits, but you don't necessarily need these in order to play the main game.
We have them and they look cool, so we're going to play with them.
Yes. And the other, less toxic worker placement spots are going to be in the form of these buildings, which we will be constructing on our own player boards over the course of the game. Now, one of the main aspects of this theme and this world is the fact that the different paths were able to travel through time. And so in the middle here, we have the timeline, which is also going to serve as the round tracker of sorts for the game, because this game is going to be played over the course of maximum 7 rounds. With this timeline, we're going to be able to borrow resources from the future, and we'll also know when this asteroid is going to crash into the Earth so that we can be ready for it when it gets there. Now, like we were mentioning earlier, the game is played over the course of maximum 7 rounds, which means there is a possibility that the game could end before that. And so each round is divided into 6 phases, starting with the preparation phase. And so at the start of each round, we always start by flipping over the next super project. These super projects are sort of like double buildings that we'll be able to build onto our player board. They will not only score you a lot of points, but they can also be quite strong. And so you will always know what the upcoming super project will be for the next round. During this phase, we will also seed the board with both resources as well as workers using these cards. And so these are going to be the resources and workers that will be available to hire and acquire during the actions phase of this round. And these get placed directly onto the board so that you know what's available. In addition, during this phase, we also shift all 4 of the building stacks so that we always have 2 different stacks to choose from.
Once that's done, we actually skip the second phase and move on to the third phase at the very beginning of the game.
That's right. We'll be talking about the second phase a little bit later, and it'll make more sense then. And so the third phase is actually where we get to power up our exosuits. So each round, you actually have to decide ahead of time how many of these exosuits you're going to need. And the way that you determine that is you have to figure out how many of specifically the main board actions you're going to be taking. Now, each player has a maximum of 6 exosuits at their disposal. And so we are actually flipped over to the asymmetric side of our player boards. But if this is your first time playing Anachrony, you're most likely going to be using the A side, which looks like this. And so during this phase, you're literally going to place the exosuits onto these spaces here to show how many you're powering up. The first 3 are free. You don't have to pay any resources or anything like that to power up the exosuit. Each additional exosuit that you power up past 3, you have to spend an energy core, which is one of the types of resources in this game. Now, because we're playing with the asymmetric side of our player boards, it's a little bit different for us. So for my path, the first 2 are free. And then starting with my third one, I either have to spend 1 regular resource or 1 energy core. So we'll be talking more about our asymmetries before we start the playthrough, but that's essentially how that works.
Now we'll discuss these symbols a little bit later in the teach.
Yes, because they have to do with the asteroid impact. And so this phase is actually done simultaneously. So let's just say I were to power up 3 of my exosuits and spend a resource for doing so.
Let's just say I'll do 4.
Okay.
There you go.
For each exosuit space you did not use, you actually get 1 water each. And water is going to be another very important resource in the game.
So in this case, Monique gets 3 and I would get 2.
Exactly. And once everyone's decided, then you move on to the warp phase, where we get to borrow resources from the future. In the base game, each player has these 9 warp tiles, and they show a range of different things, such as different types of resources, or sometimes even different workers, and I believe there's even one that represents an exosuit. Yeah, there you go. By the way, these are upgraded warp tiles. The base game doesn't come with the, I think they're acrylic. And so during this phase, players simultaneously select up to 2 of these to use to borrow from the future. You can choose to borrow nothing if you want to, but this is sort of the element of the game that will help you gain more points, because anything that you borrow in this game must be paid back at some point. And so if you're able to pay back what you borrowed, it'll score you some points. And again, this is done simultaneously. So let's just say I'm going to 1, 2, 3. Borrow 1 thing.
2 things.
So you reveal at the same time, and everything that you borrow gets placed onto the current timeline so that you know where you'll have to travel back to in order to repay what you borrowed.
And all players would immediately get these resources. So I would get 1 neutronium, 1 gold, and Monique would get 1 titanium.
Right. Now, borrowing from the future does come at a cost, and you'll see what that cost is in a second. But once this is done, then all players move on to the next phase, which is just taking actions. And during the actions phase, starting with the first player and going clockwise, each player takes 1 action each until everybody has passed. And in this game, once you pass, you're basically out for the rest of the round. Now, at the very start of the game, the only actions that will truly be available to us are the ones on the main game board, which all require an exosuit. And taking an action always requires you to send out a worker. Now, in this game, there are 4 different types of workers. They are categorized by symbol as well as color, and these workers are going to be scientists, we have engineers, administrators, and geniuses. Depending on the path that you're playing as, each player will start the game with a different combination of workers. And the way that it works is your player board is divided into 2 different sides. One side for workers that are available or awake or energized, whatever you want to call it. I think it's motivated, actually.
Motivated.
And the other side that represents your exhausted workers. You can only send out workers who are on this side, the motivated ones. And at the end of the round, most of the workers that come back to you are going to come back exhausted. Which means part of the game is figuring out how to efficiently manage your workers. Now, the different worker types are also a bit asymmetric depending on which action you send them to. And these restrictions are actually listed underneath each different type of action. So let's just go ahead and start over here, which is the mine resources action.
Sure.
According to this chart, you can send any of the 3 main types of workers here. The geniuses are not listed because they're sort of considered like a wild worker. When sending out a genius, they always represent any of the 3 other types. Now, specifically for the mine resources action, when sending out an engineer, the thing that's special about them is they actually come back to you at the end of the round motivated, which means I'll get to redeploy them again next round. And so anytime you see this eye symbol with the arrow, that means the worker stays motivated at the end of the round. And so taking this action actually gets me 2 resources. Each space is linked to a specific kind of resource. And so if I were to go here, I would get to take titanium, which is the gray type of resource. This space will allow me to take gold, and this one, uranium, which is the blue cube. In addition, I can also choose one of the resources that are still available on the left-hand side here. And again, these resources will change during the preparation phase, depending on what it shows on the new card. Now, these resources are going to be super important for when it comes to building buildings, which is the next type of action over here called construct. When taking the construct action, you're actually not allowed to place out an administrator. And so that's what that symbol means there. And when placing out an engineer, you get a 1 titanium discount for the entire construction purchase, I guess.
Yeah, when you're building a building, most of them require titanium, so you get a 1 discount on any building you construct.
And taking this action actually allows you to build one of 2 different things. We're going to be building buildings, and we're also going to be building these super projects. Buildings will come in one of 4 different types, and they're all sort of laid out on your player board here, and they all do different things depending on what type of building it is. When taking this action, you first choose what type of building you're going to be constructing. And so let's just say I wanted to construct a blue life support building, which typically gives you access to water. Now you always have to build them from left to right on your player board. And so the leftmost space is going to show you how much you have to pay to build the building, which in this case would be 2 titanium. But since I sent out an engineer, it's only going to be 1 titanium.
And so by us playing on the asymmetric side, there's different costs for each faction. So if you see, I have 1 uranium and 2 titanium costs. Monique's example, only 2 titanium costs.
Right. Now there's usually going to be 2 stacks at any given time per building type. And so I can choose the topmost tile from either stack, which means I would have the option between these 2. And whenever building a building, the leftmost column over here tells you how many points the building will be worth at the end of the game. And so this one is worth 2 points, and this one's only worth 1 point. But the difference is if you see any of these circular symbols anywhere in the game, that represents a free action. And so on your turn, during the actions phase, before taking your main action, you can actually take any number of free actions by placing one of your own path tokens on it, which means this building will always get me a free water each round. In addition, if you look at the column over here, when building this building, I immediately get 3 water. So over the course of the game, these buildings are going to be sort of like the engine building aspect of the game. You're really going to make these decisions based off of what you think you'll need the most. Some buildings, such as this next one over here, require you to spend something when taking the action. So you can place any worker here on your turn to get 8 water, but you'll also have to pay a neutronium when taking the action. Other buildings, such as this one, require you to place a specific worker on it. So in this case, I would have to place an administrator on the building in order to gain 5 water.
And don't forget, geniuses can represent the other workers.
That's right. And so that's essentially how all of the buildings are going to work. The blue ones, like we were mentioning earlier, get you water. The red ones will gain you a variety of things. So a lot of these will show you victory points and water. Some of them will gain you other types of resources. Some of them just an immediate benefit. And so we'll be discussing what these do as we play the playthrough. The gray buildings are called factories, and they typically help gain you resources. And the yellow buildings are called power plants. Those always give you the ability to travel through time, which we'll be talking about in a second. Now, the other thing these buildings are good for is our evacuation goals. Oh, this is yours. One thing that I didn't mention is as soon as the asteroid impact occurs, each player is going to want to evacuate. And so each player, depending on the path that they chose, has a specific evacuation goal, which is going to give you some sort of a requirement that you need to meet in order to score a lot of points. And so as an example, my specific path wants me to have 3 power plants in order to evacuate, and that'll score me 3 points. And we'll talk about this more in detail when we talk about the asteroid impact. Now, the other thing that we're going to be constructing are super projects, and we're only going to have access to 7 different super projects over the course of the game. The game actually comes with a lot more of these. You just shuffle them and choose 7 to play with. And in order to construct a super project, you need to pay a lot of stuff. You'll need to pay a combination of resources as well as what are called breakthrough tiles. So Naveen's path actually starts with a breakthrough tile. They look like this, and we'll talk about how to acquire them a little bit more later. But just so you know, breakthrough tiles come in 3 different shapes. There's triangle, circle, and square. They're all over here. And they come in, I believe, 5 different symbols. And so each super project will tell you either specifically the very specific breakthrough tile you need to spend or 2 general shapes. So in this example, this wants the triangle clock symbol, or you can just turn in any square and any circle. And so since Naveen already has a square, he's kind of half the way
halfway there
to being able to build this.
Almost.
Super projects, when constructed, actually take up 2 spaces on your player board. And you always have to place the super project on the leftmost available space so that it blocks off sort of the cheapest building opportunities.
And you don't have to pay what you cover up, which is a kind of a nice thing for you.
Yes, you only pay what's actually listed on the super project. The thing is, we have to be in the round that the super project is in order for you to construct it. So even though we know what the next round super project is, we can't actually build it until its next round. And that's essentially how the construct action works. This is probably going to be one of the most important actions that we're going to be taking in the game. Just so you know, we're playing on the 2 or 3 player side of the board, which means we only have access to 2 worker placement spots per round. And so the second person to go there each round will have to pay a water in order to take the action. All right, moving on to the next action over here, which is the recruit action. In order to take this action, I can only send either an engineer or an administrator. No scientists can go here because I guess they don't, I don't know, they're not good at staffing.
They're not people.
Now, taking this action allows me to recruit a new worker from one of the ones that are available. And that's going to be really important because as we play the game, you'll see sometimes certain types of workers won't even be present. Now, when hiring a worker, depending on the type of worker you hired, you also get a bonus. So if I were to hire a scientist, I get 2 water. Engineers will get you an energy core, which, like we were mentioning earlier, is really important for powering up your exosuits. Administrators will get you a victory point, and that is a universal symbol for points in the game. And hiring a genius will allow you to choose one of the 3 bonuses to gain. Now, something to consider is if you were to send out an engineer, you cannot hire a genius. Only administrators can hire any of the different types. And when hiring a worker, they come to your board motivated. And so that's what that symbol means down there, which means you can use them this round on your very next turn. Now, moving on to the next type of action, this is called the research action. And this is how you get those breakthrough tiles. Going here requires specifically a scientist, which means I can't even send out this engineer. You can, however, send out a genius, again, because they are a wild worker. And so the way that gaining a breakthrough tiles works is we have these 2 breakthrough dice. One die shows the different shapes, the circle, square, or triangle. And then the other die shows all of the different unique symbols with one question mark that allow you to basically choose which one you want. Now, when taking this action, you're going to choose one of the dice to set and the other one to roll. So let's just say I don't care what the symbol is. I just really need a square breakthrough tile. I'll set the shape and then I'll roll the symbol die. Oh, in this case, I got lucky because I could literally choose. But let's just say I were to roll that, I would look specifically for that square breakthrough tile, which happens to be what Naveen has.
At the very beginning, I randomly rolled this combination, hence why I have this, but this is what you would be looking for.
Exactly. And breakthrough tiles, like we were mentioning, are used to build super projects, but also at the end of the game, they're each worth 1 point. You also gain 2 additional points for each set of 3 of different shapes that you have. And that's essentially it for the research action. It's actually quite simple. Specifically, these 3 actions are all linked by these 2 worker placement spots up here, which basically allow you to take one of the 3 actions if they are completely filled. If at any time one of these actions get fully blocked off like this, and let's just say I really want to construct, I can send a worker out onto one of these 2 spaces to now take that action. It serves essentially as a wild spot for specifically these 3 locations, but only if that specific action is completely blocked out. And in order to go here, I will have to pay either 1 water or 2 water. Now, the difference between these 2 spaces is going to specifically this space, which is more expensive, will also get me first player. And that is the only way that turn order changes in this game. Now, the reason why we had this token here is because we are actually playing with a variant that blocks off this rightmost space, making the game a little bit harder.
Tighter.
A little bit tighter, exactly. You don't have to do that in your gameplay, but we just decided to make it a little bit harder for ourselves.
Why not?
Now, these last 2 actions over here are much bigger in terms of their space because any number of workers or exosuits can go there. Going up here lets you take the Purify Water action, which basically just gets you 3 water. If you were to send out a scientist, though, you gain an additional 1. And going to this space allows you to trade with the nomads. Now, this is basically a resource conversion spot. Going here will allow you to do 1 conversion. So I can spend 3 water basically for an energy core or for 2 of the three basic types of resources, which does not include neutronium.
Right.
Or I could spend an energy core for neutronium or for 3 water. You basically just follow the arrows. And sending an administrator to this space allows you to do an additional conversion. And those are all of the different types of actions we'll be taking on the main board. Now, over the course of the game, we're going to be making our own worker placement spots on our player boards via these buildings, as well as these super projects. A majority of them will be pretty straightforward, and we'll be explaining them as we play the playthrough. But one really important concept to understand are the yellow power plant buildings, because these will allow you to go back in time, or forward in time, travel through time. Power plants will always have this symbol with a number in it, and that basically will allow you to go back through the timeline to basically repay what you borrowed. In the first round, these are not going to be very useful. But let's just say I built one of these, and now we are in round 3, and I really want to go back to this timeline to pay back what I borrowed. To do that, I could take this power plant action by placing out a scientist like it demands. And then this symbol means I can go back up to 2 spaces on the timeline from where I currently am. And so since I am here, it's going to take me to 2 spaces to get to this spot over here. So by taking this action, I can move my marker 2 spaces back here, and then in that moment, I can immediately choose to pay back what I borrowed, which in this case is a titanium.
Right.
I would return this to the supply, and then each time you pay back something that you borrowed, you actually move up on your time warp track over here, which will score you points at the end of the game. So these are also asymmetric. The most that I can score is 20 points, but the most that Naveen can score is 16. But it looks like in our specific game here, we also have an end game public objective that wants you to be as far up as possible. And in paying back that resource, I get to remove my warp tile from this timeline, which is going to be super important for the next round, which we'll talk about in a second. In addition, traveling through time via these power plants is the only way that you can build super projects that we had skipped on. So let's just say neither of us built the super project in round 1, and now we're in round 3. If I really want to build that now, I would have to go back in the timeline and then take the construct action now that I'm here. Anyway, I hope that makes sense. We're going to be doing this a lot during the gameplay, so hopefully it'll be more clear as we play the game. Now, the last type of action, which is super important to know, is how to remotivate your workers. So once all your workers are exhausted, you're going to need to get them to become motivated again in order for you to be able to use them. And so in this game, you have 2 different options, one that is free and one that is not. Each player has a morale tracker at the bottom here, which is also going to score you points at the end of the game, depending on where it is. Now, as a free action, I can force my workers to become remotivated by placing my token over here and just moving all my workers over to the motivated side. However, this will bring down morale, which is going to potentially lose me points at the end of the game. And if morale goes too low, then you potentially will lose a worker for taking that free action. So just keep that in mind. The other option is, as an action, you can be nice to your workers and basically take this action by placing a worker there and paying a certain amount of water in order to bring the morale tracker upwards. Placing an administrator here will stay motivated, but you can really place any worker on that spot to do it. Now, as soon as everybody passes, then the round essentially ends, and we do a few things. We will first check to see if it's the end of the 4th round yet, in which we'll have the asteroid impact. We'll also check to see if the game ends, which we'll talk about in a second, and if neither of those things are true, then we just move on to the next round, beginning with the preparation phase again. Now, one thing that we skipped earlier is the second phase of the round, which is the paradox phase. Starting with the second round onwards, we are going to consult each timeline, and basically each player who has the most number of warp tiles on the timeline space is going to have to roll the paradox die. And this die ranges from 0 to up to 2 symbols. And basically for each of those triangle symbols you roll, you're going to take a paradox token, which is going to go onto your player board. Again, our boards are asymmetric, so Naveen can hold up to 4. But for me, as soon as I gain a 3rd paradox, I will actually have to take an anomaly, which are very bad. Anomalies look like buildings, but they give you -3 points at the end of the game, and they will have to be placed on an available building spot. In that moment, you stop rolling, though. So if there are more warp tiles that you'd have to roll for, then you just forgo the rest of them. And after taking the anomaly, then you can optionally choose to just remove one of your warp tiles from a timeline. So that is sort of a way for you to suffer less punishment, but you're also sacrificing the ability to travel through time to repay that to gain points.
Yeah, so by taking it off, you do not get a passive move up on this track.
Correct. You only move up on this track whenever you take the power plant action that actually allows you to go back and pay back what you borrowed. During the game, you do have the ability to remove these, though. It would just require an action, and it would require you to kill off one of your workers. You would basically assign a worker there and pay either 2 of the basic resources or 1 neutronium plus 2 water. And then this would get removed. Now, as soon as we get to the end of the 4th round, the asteroid impact happens. And so when that happens, we actually flip over this tile to show the evacuation side. Thematically, I think one of the paths are trying to gather up all of their evacuation conditions so that they can be the best and final path.
You want to like
Something
reign
like that.
supreme in the new world, the remaining world.
Yes, because only one will reign supreme.
Yeah.
And so each player has their own asymmetric evacuation condition. Like I was mentioning earlier, mine specifically wants me to have 3 power plants on my player board. And if so, then it'll earn me the right to score the bottom scoring criteria, which in this case is 3 points for every neutronium I have when I take the evacuation action. So in order for me to take that action, you have to assign an exosuit there. You can place any of the 3 workers out there, but it requires you to take an action. So you need to plan for that. And when placing out your exosuit to take the action, that is when you actually score your evacuation criteria in that moment. So if later on in the game I were to gain more neutronium, it's not going to score me any additional points because you only score it as soon as you take the evacuation action.
And in a 2-player game, the second player to go there will get 3 less points.
That's right. Now, in addition to the new action space, this will also trigger a few changes that happen during gameplay. One of the things are on your player board, 2 of the spots will now no longer be available, and they're marked off by the asteroid impact symbol. Which means less exosuits, unfortunately.
Yeah, you actually place out one of these on each of these sections here, meaning I will not be able to power up exosuits in there. So I only have 1, 2, 3, 4 spots available.
Exactly. In addition, each of the action spaces in the world capital, so specifically these 3 actions, will gain a bonus tile, which will probably just show you as we play the gameplay.
Sure, yeah.
But at that point, each action space can only be taken one last time for the rest of the game. Because as soon as somebody goes there, when you take back your exosuit, that spot will get destroyed, just like that. And so that will actually serve as the real timer for the game, because if all of the world capital action spaces become destroyed before the end of the 7th round, then the game will end. You would finish out the round, and then you'd go into endgame scoring, which is actually the most likely scenario to occur in our gameplay.
Sure.
Now, once the game ends, each player will have one last opportunity to pay back any of the warp tiles that they borrowed from. You won't be able to go up on this time travel track for that, but you won't lose any points, because at the end of the game, for each of these you still have on here, it's going to be minus 2 points each. And then you would go into endgame scoring. At that point, we'll score all of our points for all of our buildings and super projects. We'll also score points for any breakthrough tiles that we have left over. We'll score both our morale track as well as our time travel track. We'll score negative points for any anomalies that we have left on our player boards. We will most likely have physical points in hand, so we'll add those to our score as well. And then finally, we will score the 5 endgame public objective cards. And basically, whoever has the most in each of these criteria will get 3 points each, and ties are friendly. And at that point, whoever has the most points wins.
Yeah, your path becomes the supreme path of all humans remaining.
Yes. All right, we're just going to go ahead and get cleaned up, and then we'll get started with our playthrough.
Okay, we are ready to go. We have shuffled all the building tiles. We have to figure out who is going to go first. What do you want to do?
Rock, paper, scissors.
All right.
1, 2, 3.
Me.
All
I
right.
go first.
You do.
That's good.
So you place your banner out.
Yeah, so
actually,
I have
to
a
represent
banner
that.
here. So now this might not look like anything. So I'll just leave it kind of like that. How
You can
about
place
that?
out one of your
Yeah,
one
let's
of these.
do that.
You want to do that?
Let's use one of these to represent that. That way we can kind of see who's going first.
Yeah, but when you play the real game, you can use the banners.
Banners.
They're nicer. All right. So, shall we introduce our paths?
Before you do, I think you get a water.
I do.
Yeah.
Thank you. I always
so
forget that.
going second, Monique gets a water.
Yeah. Okay, if you didn't join us for the teach, we are playing the asymmetric side of our player boards.
Right.
So when you play this game, you have to all choose between the A or the B side.
Right.
And so we chose to go with the B side.
Might as well.
I'm going to be playing as the Path of Salvation. This is what my exosuits look like. And again, if you did not join us for the teach, we are playing with a lot of upgraded components. So keep that in mind, just in case your copy might look different. My leader is High Sunwalker Amina. And so my ability here says that when the asteroid impact occurs, I do not lose these 2 spaces.
You don't break them up.
I don't break them. I still get to use them. That is my only benefit. In addition, the side of my board here that I'm using for my evacuation says that in order to evacuate, I need to have 3 power plants. That's going to score me 3 victory points. And if so, I'm going to get an additional 3 points for each of the purple resource that I have, which is the ever super valuable neutronium.
Yeah, it's interesting because for you, every time you need to build one of these, it costs neutronium. So you have to find a way to have it once it's finally built.
Yes, that is going to be my challenge.
Yeah.
As for my player board itself, the asymmetry here is going to be in how much I have to pay for powering up exosuits. Only 2 of them are going to be free, but 2 of them I can spend one of the 3 basic types of resources instead of energy cores.
Right.
And also with any of the B-sides, you're just going to have different combinations of the resources that you have to pay. So some things will be cheaper, some things will be more expensive. I start on this space of the morale track. And also all the B-sides have different amount of points for both the morale track as well as the time travel track.
Yeah.
So I can max that at 20.
Yeah, it looks like here you can max out at 4 points. Unlike me, I can get 7 points.
And the last thing is if I were to ever gain an anomaly, I can place it on any spot on my player board.
Gotcha.
I don't have to go to the cheapest
Far
spot.
left, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, typically you always have to build from left to right. If you get an anomaly, you take it into the furthest left spot. So you can just plop it down on a really expensive spot potentially.
I can. Yes, that's true.
Kind of good, yeah.
And if you notice any of the artwork here, it's actually woven into the theme. So for me, the Path of Salvation, I believe we are underground dwellers.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why all of the artwork sort of represents that.
Gotcha. Shall I introduce myself?
Yes, please.
Okay, I am the Path of Progress. So we are going to be the yellow player today. I am Patron Valerian, and my special ability is all my scientists act as geniuses.
That's so nice.
Meaning I have 2 different types of wild workers, both scientists as well as geniuses. In order to escape or evacuate this wretched place, I must build out 3 of the red buildings down here. So I need to get 3 of those out. I'll get 6 points. And then in that moment when I'm trying to evacuate, for every set of one of these
The breakthrough tiles?
breakthrough tiles plus every 2 scientists, I'll get 4 points. So that's kind of my ratio. I want to get 2 scientists for every one of these to get 4 points for each. So hopefully I can do a ton of that.
Interesting, which means the super projects are mine.
That's right, because if I'm spending these on these super projects, then I'm not going to have them at the time to do that. But maybe the math works out where I want 6 points instead of 4 points.
It's true.
Right?
You'll just have to do the math in that moment.
I'll have to do the math. Okay, so I have some asymmetric stuff going on here. On my B-side player board, I have space for a 4th tile before I have to take one of these anomalies. That's kind of nice. It buys me a little bit more time. Some of these things are going to be a little bit more expensive. Whenever I try to motivate my workers by spending water and a worker, I do not get that person to come back motivated themselves.
Right, because on the symmetric side, the A sides, if you place an administrator there, which is actually true
Which is
for my
exactly
board
what you
too,
have, yeah. If you place an administrator.
then they stay motivated at the end of the round.
Yeah.
But
not for me,
Not for
even
me.
if it's a genius or a scientist with my asymmetric power.
right.
In addition to that, unlike Monique's board, I can pay either a power core or any resource of my choice on any one of these 3 spots. So that's pretty nice if I'm running low on these and I have a bunch of other resources.
Yeah, you have some flexibility.
And the last thing is for each of these building types, the yellow, gray, and red, if I ever place out a scientist or a genius into one of those asymmetric buildings of mine, then I will get them back. They become motivated. They stay motivated going into the next round.
So you're sacrificing the administrator being motivated for the ability to have motivated scientists.
Scientist, yeah. So I think I'm going to try to do that.
The last thing before we get started are our 5 end of game objectives.
Yes.
And so it's going to be building the most super projects. I believe this one's is being the furthest up on the time travel track. Similar here, you want to be furthest up on the morale track. I believe this is just most number of spaces covered on your player board. And then this is leftover breakthrough tiles.
That's right. And then this can also include those anomaly tiles on here.
Yeah.
So
it's just number of spaces, right? That are filled.
Yep.
All right. And I think that's it. Are you ready to get started?
Yes.
Okay. So here we go. Round 1. Phase 1, which of course is the preparation phase. And so we are going to start by flipping over the next super project, which if you joined us for the teach, you already know it is the Particle Collider.
Yep.
For this round, if you'd like to build a super project, it's going to be the Temporal Tourism, which gets you 6 points. And this, as a free action, allows you to travel through time 3 spaces along the timeline.
It's a free action. Yeah.
During this phase, we will also shift all the building tiles, and then we will go ahead and repopulate the board. So we'll just be doing this for the first round. And then for the next rounds, we'll just do, it crosses off so you don't have to sit through it. So this round, we are going to have 2 neutronium. And one thing that I forgot to mention during the teach is as soon as the asteroid impact occurs, we're actually going to ignore the first resource of each card for the rest of the game and replace it with a neutronium. Because thematically, that's sort of a resource that came from the asteroid, and now we'll have more of it.
More of it.
This round, we will also be able to hire, looks like 1 scientist, 1 administrator, and 2 geniuses.
2 geniuses.
So no engineers. This is sort of an example of the worker limitation.
Yeah.
All right. And I think we are now prepared for the round.
Okay.
So since it's the first round, we are skipping the second phase and we're going directly to powering up our exosuits. So this is done simultaneously. So we are going to actually reveal at the same time because we don't want to cheat.
Yes.
Ready?
I'm ready.
1, 2, 3,
4 of
4.
them.
Ah.
All right.
Okay.
So I'm going to definitely take the freebie spots. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I think I'm going to spend energy cores for my other 2.
I'm going to spend 1 energy core.
These 2.
To go here. And so because of that, we both get 2 water each because we have 2 empty spaces each.
So you only have to spend 1 resource?
That's correct.
Because 3 of yours are free?
Yeah, so this is just like the A side. The A side looks like that. And then I'm going to spend 1 of these power symbols.
Nice. That is so nice. I only have 2 that are free.
Yeah.
And I could have instead chosen to spend a resource, but I went with the energy cores instead.
Why not?
Okay, so yes, we get water. So you get 2 water.
2 water.
Here you go.
Thank you.
And I also get 2 water because there are 2 empty spaces.
All right.
Now we move on to the warp phase. So go ahead and gather all of your warp tiles. And again, we can choose up to 2 of them to borrow from the future. All right, ready?
I'm ready.
1, 2, 3. 1.
Oh, we have the same idea.
Oh, it's the same.
Titanium each.
All right. Same resource. I see you. I see you.
I see you.
So we get 1 titanium each.
Yeah.
Here's yours.
So we are on the hook for titanium in the future.
I'm going to place my resources up here.
Okay.
I don't know if I can. I can't tell what'll be seen easier, I guess. And I believe that's it. We are now in the actions phase. So starting with you, Naveen, go for it.
Me. All right. So I am eyeing something. I would like to send out somebody to go build.
Okay.
I think I want to construct. So I'm going to send my very first exosuit with a scientist in it. But because I am patron Valerian, this scientist, I'm going to say, represents a genius.
Okay.
Who will then represent an architect or an engineer. There we go. So I'm going to put that right over there.
By the way, this is what Naveen's exosuits look
it's like Goldar.
Yeah, they have wings.
You know who Goldar is.
Okay.
All right, so that's going to go there. And then I am going to get a 1 titanium discount because they're going to represent an engineer.
Okay, what are you constructing?
Well, I know I'm going to need water at some point, so I like this building.
Oh, it's so nice.
Right over here. So this one basically says I must use an administrator or technically a scientist or a genius for me, for my particular faction. And then anytime I do that, it's my own personal action, I get 5 water. And it's worth 2 points at the end of the game. So in order to construct this, it's going to cost me 1 uranium and technically 2 titanium, but I get the 1 discount. So it's going to be 1 and 1.
Nice.
1 and 1.
All right.
We're in business.
Getting the party started.
If you notice, though, remember how I have the asymmetry? If I ever use scientists or technically geniuses, I get them back?
Oh, not here. There. Okay.
Not here. No.
Okay.
And I do have to mention, this does not automatically refill.
No, it doesn't.
Only in the preparation phase.
Which is inconvenient for me because the only option I have is this 1 building that requires me to spend the type of resource I'm trying to collect.
That doesn't work for you.
It doesn't work for me. Considering I need a lot of resources in order for me to be able to even just power up my exosuits,
Okay.
I'm going to go and place an engineer over here.
Okay.
So all of the buildings pretty much require titanium.
Okay.
So I'm going to go down here. And the reason why I'm choosing an engineer is so that they can stay motivated at the end of the round.
Right.
Going to this space gets me a titanium. So I'm just going to place one of each type here just to show what it's representing.
yeah.
But we'll be taking our actual resources from the supply.
Okay.
So I'm going to take one titanium for the spot. And then out of these ones, I'm taking a neutronium.
Look at you.
So that's it for me. Back to you.
Ooh, okay, so you went there.
Yeah.
I was not thinking that you were going to go there right away, so I am going to send out an administrator to go hire some more workers.
No.
I'd like to go here. Now, it's interesting because there's 2 geniuses out there,
Yeah.
which is like a truth. You want to get the geniuses. But
true.
for me, my math equation here wants me to have scientists.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like torn.
And I believe geniuses can represent any of these other workers when taking the action.
Yeah.
But when you need to spend or repay back a specific worker, you cannot use a genius.
That's right. So even though I said what I said, I'm going to take a genius specifically.
What?
No, I'll take a scientist. I will
Okay.
take a scientist. And
Okay.
then because it's associated with 2 water,
Yeah.
I get 2 water.
There you go.
So I'll take that.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I know.
Don't drink it all at
I know.
once.
Look at those
Okay.
2 geniuses just sitting there.
Yes, I'm going to take one.
Off you
but
go.
I need an administrator. You're not allowed to send a scientist over here.
No.
So I'm going to need to do something bad. I'm going to take a free action.
Are you going to crack the whip?
I wouldn't do this in real life, but I'm going to force this administrator
up.
to become motivated. Please look alive.
Yeah.
And that will bring down my morale.
No, that's a free action.
That is a free action, and you have to do all the free actions before you take your actual action.
Sure.
So I'm sending out my administrator now to the second space to hire a worker. I have to pay a water for that spot.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to hire a genius. Speaking of geniuses.
Solid.
I get to choose my bonus for going there, and I think I'm going to go with an energy core because I need to remember to hold on to these. That's my weakness in this game, not having enough resources to power up exosuits.
Right.
So I'm planning for the future.
Very, very good. Okay, so my next action, I'm going to send out a scientist to represent the wild
Okay.
genius. And I'm going to place them out onto this slot here. So I'm going to be able to get a uranium. Can I get it from the supply? That way we don't have to keep taking it down from there.
Sure.
And then I'm going to take a titanium, which is going to be one of those. Yeah.
There you go. You're welcome.
All right, so now I have that.
Okay. All right, back to me. I think I'm going to send out a scientist since I have so many for some reason. And I'm going to go over here to take the research action. It's the first time we're doing this. So of the 2 dice, I have to set one of them. What do I want?
Interesting.
I'm going to set the symbol. And I think I'm going to set it to this chip looking thing right there. And I'm going to roll the other one. Oh my goodness. We don't have a
Chip-looking thing, huh?
dice tray.
So chip-looking thing is this thing right here that
Correct.
you're trying to gun for?
Don't point at it.
So you're looking for a triangle chip.
It's not what I wanted.
Triangle chip.
But it is still a breakthrough tile, which will be useful.
By the way, this is basically a 1 in 3 shot whenever you do this because there's 2 of each shape here. And then also, if you were to set on this side, there is that question mark. So the question mark plus the chip is 1/3 of the dice, if that makes sense.
Sure.
So it's always a 1 in 3 chance.
Yes, and I did not succeed in those chances.
There you
So
go.
here we are. Back to you.
Well, you did something I didn't think you were going to do, and you left a spot open for me. So I think I'm going to construct.
Okay.
I didn't think you were going to leave that for me. So I'm going to go and slot myself in right over here. Because I did that, it does cost me 1 water. And then knowing that my escape route is going to require me to have 3 of these types of buildings, these red ones here, I'm going to go ahead and get one of these. This one looks pretty nice. Oh, they both look nice. So although this is really nice, knowing that I'm going to want to try to get this moving.
Here. This is probably hard to see.
Yeah, sorry.
This basically allows you to re-motivate your workers by placing a worker there. And if you place an administrator there, they also become motivated. They stay motivated.
Yeah.
But taking this action does not require you to spend water, unlike this action.
So you don't slide that down to the right. So I think I'm going to pass on that one.
Okay.
I'm going to take this one over here. So this one is very simple. It basically says any worker that you place on there, you gain 1 water and 1 victory point.
Okay.
So I'm going to keep that. And what's nice about this is going to slot in here. So it's going to cost me, this is going to represent, by the way, an engineer. So I get a discount.
Okay.
It's going to cost me 1 uranium, 1 water, and instead of 2 titanium, it's just 1. So there you go. So I'm paying the cost. And then now this one is going to go here. What's nice about this is it's 1/3 towards my escaping plan.
Evacuation
plan. Almost, yeah. But if I ever use a genius or a scientist, then the person that ends up going here will come back
We'll
to me.
stay motivated.
Staying awake.
Nice.
Yeah. That was my move.
All right. Well, I have one last exosuit. What am I going to do with you? I think I should probably construct a building.
So you're going to get first player, huh?
Yeah. I'm going to send out a genius, and it's going to cost 2 water.
Okay.
So I'm going to go ahead and spend 2 water. Going to that spot gets me the first player. So swap, please.
Off you go. So Monique will be first player into the next round.
Yes. And now I'm going to take the construct action since it is full.
And it's a genius, so they're going to represent an engineer?
Yes.
Okay.
And seeing as I need a lot of resources, I think I'm going to construct one of the gray buildings.
Okay.
So it's going to cost me 1 titanium and 1 gold.
Okay.
So there's that. And then
You got a discount for having the genius.
yeah, and they're essentially the same in my eyes because one gets you 2 uranium, the other one gets me 2 gold, and they're worth the same amount of victory points. I would have to spend the same amount of water.
Okay.
So I think I'm just going to take the top.
The uranium one.
Yeah, because
Exposing whatever's below.
wait, hold on, don't do
Okay,
it yet.
okay,
How
okay.
many things need gold? You know what? I will take the gold one.
You'll take the gold one?
Yeah, because I think I do need more gold in the end.
Okay.
So, anyway, there's
That.
that. Oh, you know what? Can I change my mind? Do you care?
You covered up one of the 4 gold spots,
I
right?
did.
Yeah, okay. So there you go.
I just want a little bit more
Look at
variety.
that right there. This one just gets you.
Because at the start of the next round, we're going to shift that building again. So having access to 2 new buildings, I think, is better for both of us.
All right, there you go.
So
Oh, thank you.
anyway, there you go.
All right. Well, I only have 1 more motivated worker. It happens
Mm-hmm.
to be an administrator. I happen to have a spot that requires 1. That gets me 5 water. So let's just go ahead and drop that in there. Make
Okay.
us have 5 water.
I'm going to give you the blue. This represents 5.
The dark blue is going to represent 5. I'll keep my dark blues on this one.
Oh my gosh, you're going to forget.
No, that's exactly how I'll remember, so I don't accidentally hand you the wrong thing.
Okay.
There we go.
All right, done?
Yep.
All right, for probably my final action, because this is really the only other space I have available, I might as well get this started, right?
Okay.
So I'm going to send a scientist over here. I have to pay 1 water, and in turn, it's going to get me 2 uranium. So now I have some exosuit powering
I
up
have a lot of resources.
power. I do.
Well, I'm out of workers. I do not want to spend this here, so I am just going to go ahead and pass.
All right, I too shall pass. So that is the end of the actions phase. Let's go to end of round, which is basically just cleanup. So we're going to go ahead and take our workers back. And the only ones that we have to be mindful of that stay motivated, I believe, are these, right?
Yeah, because they
So-
represent any engineers here stay motivated.
Yes, and this is going to represent engineer for you.
Yep.
So that one, and I have an engineer as well. So these 2 stay motivated.
Okay.
Otherwise, here are your exosuits.
Perfect.
These go back to you, and they
They're
are
gonna become tired.
exhausted.
Yep.
And so
sleepy.
does this one,
Okay. Perfect.
and then these final 2 as well. All right.
Very
so lots of
good.
exhausted workers.
Tired
And then
peeps.
also, don't forget to pull back any workers that are on
Yeah.
your player
also
board.
Exhausted.
So then we also check for the asteroid impact as well as the end of the game, which neither are happening.
Yep.
So let's go ahead and move on to round 2, shall we?
Let's do it.
All right, round 2, here we go, preparation phase. So we are going to move on to the next
Moving.
timeline,
Yep.
which means this is now going to be available for us to build this round. And then we go ahead and flip over the next super
premonition.
project, which is
Ooh.
rescue pods. So this super project gets you 5 points, and this basically says that your evacuation condition has been fulfilled.
Wow.
So that's kind of nice, honestly,
yeah.
because then you wouldn't have to care about the top part. You just collect all the stuff at the bottom.
Yeah, it's
You know?
not bad.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
All right, so now we are going to repopulate the board and the buildings. We'll see you in a second. All right, we are now fully prepared. We have our workers as well as our resources for the round. No geniuses this time.
0.
And we have our new buildings. So
they
we
are.
do have some interesting ones. This one looks like you get 2 victory points for each of these.
So yeah, so this essentially makes all of your anomalies, which would normally be -3, -1 instead, because
Yes.
you get +2 points.
That's not
So
bad.
the math on it's -1. So it's not bad.
So now we're actually going to play out the second phase.
We are, yeah.
We are both tied for having the majority of warp tiles on this timeline, which means we will both roll the die. So
Off you go.
here we go. Please, 0, 0, 0.
1.
Okay.
I got you.
Please.
All
Thank
right.
you.
And more likely than not, you are going to roll this. It's just you really don't want to see the 2 side on this one right here. You really don't want that.
Roll the 2.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like that. You don't want that. Dang
Hey,
it.
you can hold more. So-
Well, there goes my benefit.
There goes your benefit, exactly.
There goes my benefit.
They're not the end of the world. You can pay them
Feels
off,
like the end of the world,
but
you
it's not. It's pretty
It's
awful.
not ideal.
Yeah. All right, let's power up our exosuits. So how many are you going to power up?
All right.
Ready?
Yes.
1, 2, 3.
4.
5.
Ooh,
I went for
Monique
it.
is going hard.
Free energy. And then I'm going to spend 1 or 2
Yikes.
resources for this.
I'm going to
Ugh.
spend my power symbol thing.
Okay, I'm going to spend both of these.
Ooh, 2 uranium. I'll take
2 uranium. Well,
Yikes.
because you can see, yeah, I'm going to spend both of these uranium.
I have no opinion on it. Go ahead.
I get 1 water for that available
Oh,
spot,
I get 2, yeah.
and you get 2 water.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Okay. I actually don't really know that I need 5 exosuits. It just feels powerful.
I hope you waste one of them. So
Thank you.
That'll make me feel better.
You are very kind.
Yeah.
Warp phase. So let's go ahead and decide
Yeah. What
how
do
much
I
to
need?
borrow from the future. Ready?
I'm ready.
1, 2, 3.
Ooh.
We're both a little bit scaredy when it comes to
I mean,
this phase.
Yeah.
I feel like we just, I don't know. Maybe more advanced players can chime in here. On average, how many warp tiles do you play? Right?
1 every time.
Yeah.
1. Yeah.
Unless I really need it.
So I get 1 of the purple resource.
Okay.
Since there's none out there to go grab.
There you go.
Thank you.
And I get a blue uranium.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Action, starting with me. I am going to start by building something this time.
Okay.
So here we go. I'm sending out an engineer, and I'm going to go here, and I'm going to build the water building.
Okay.
So I
Do
only
you
have to pay
want-
1 titanium for it. So
Okay.
there's that. And I would like the one that gives me 7 water.
Now this is special. You kill the worker that gets the 7 water.
Wait, what? What? What?
It's a dead symbol. It's a die symbol.
It's a die symbol?
It's a skull.
Wait, no.
Just changed everything.
That changes everything.
It does.
I was so excited.
No good. No, they die. But you could get this one.
I have to spend a neutronium for that.
You do.
Wow, that is a really big shame. I thought this would be my moment.
I mean, you could get
to
it.
get some. I'm not going to get it.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to construct a, is it a power plant?
Power plant, yeah.
So instead, it's going to be 1 neutronium,
Okay.
1 titanium, 1 water. So
Look at you.
I am going to construct the bottom one that only lets me travel
One space only.
space. Yeah.
All right. There
Thank
you go.
you. It is what it is. There we go. It's still, it gives me 4 points.
It does.
All right, back to you.
Interesting. That revealed this one, which I kind of like.
Yeah, that's better.
It's only worth 1 point, but you get to move back in time 3 spaces, and
Yeah.
I can take off one of these pesky little things right here. So
Too bad we don't have that endgame card. One of the endgame objectives is the cumulative sum of all of the
Those arrows.
spaces that you
Yeah.
can travel through time, and that would have been good for you.
I had plans to do something, but now that that's revealed, I only have 1 worker here, so I'm gonna probably anger my people a little here
Okay.
because by me putting this out,
Yeah.
that means I'm not gonna have anybody to come in to pay the water. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, so let's just go ahead and put this worker out, and I'm actually gonna go up here. Let's go ahead and get myself another person. So of course I need scientists for my escape route. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead, and this scientist is gonna represent
An
an
administrator.
administrator because of my special ability.
Okay.
So I'm gonna take the scientist, and that's gonna get me 2 water. Now this
There you go.
person comes to me ready to go and motivated.
Very good.
There we go.
All right, back to me. I'm sending out a scientist to take a breakthrough.
Oh, you have your eyes on something.
I do. So
Oh, you want this
I do.
because
We're
you
here.
need purple.
So I already have a triangle, which means I just need a square.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what symbol I roll
No.
because I need to turn in both. So I think that's the population symbol,
Yes.
right?
Uh-huh.
Which I think is this.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So there you go. I now have 2 breakthrough tiles. It is back to you.
Oh, you do you? So I think I would like to move up on this track. So I will spend my scientists, move them down here.
Oh.
It's going to be spending 5 water. So here's that 5 that I said I wouldn't forget.
Okay.
And then that's going to motivate everybody to come on over and work for me. And then we're going to slide this over. So now I'm scoring 3 points.
Okay.
And then now I have workers to go and do things.
Nice.
Off they go.
Very good. Back to me. I don't have any workers available.
Cracking
so
of the
I'm going to
whip.
be mean again. Oh my gosh.
action.
What is going on? Yeah, this is a free action.
Free action.
So
Solid.
there's that. And I do have to bring my morale tracker down. I'm losing
Oh my
4
gosh.
points at the end
That's
of the
one
game
of the
now.
end game scoring criteria.
I
is
know, I
being
don't
up-
have a water engine.
No.
So then I'm going to send off one of my scientists to gain some more water.
Okay.
So do you
nice.
mind setting this one
You're
up there,
going up.
please?
So because it's a scientist, it's actually 3 plus 1. So you get 4. There you go. Now you got some water.
If you don't have a water building, there's at least that spot. It just
Yeah.
requires you to have an exosuit. So maybe that's why I needed that extra exosuit.
Yes.
All right, back to you.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and construct. So I'm going to place out this individual here. This is an engineer.
Okay.
And I'm going to place them right over
Bob.
here. Bob. Bob's going over there. He's going to be constructing. So that's
Okay.
going to cost me 1 water.
Yep.
So I get a 1 titanium discount. And
Yes.
I'd like the ability to go back in time at some
Okay.
point. So I'm going to do this one right over here. So I did borrow this neutronium. So the neutronium, I get a 1 discount on titanium, 1 gold, and 1 water. There we go, paying it all. And then I do not want this one, but I do want this one over here. So this one costs all that stuff. It's going to be worth 1 point at the end of the game. I will be able to send anybody out to go back in time 3 spaces. And immediately right now, when I take this and use and put it down here, I can pluck one of these off.
Do you want to do that?
I do want to do that. I do
Oh.
not want to have to pay back purple
Okay.
because I need to use purple to go do other things with it. And there's no purple out there. So let's
Smart.
go ahead and just pull this off. I won't be able to bump up this, but that is okay.
I'm having regrets.
I'm okay
I
with
should have
that.
done that.
Yeah, you don't want to have to pay that back.
That was exactly the move that I needed to do.
Yeah.
It is now time for me to build my super project.
Okay.
So I'm going to send a genius over to this spot. So it is
2
water
water.
expensive. It's going to represent an engineer.
So you'll maintain first
So
place.
I will. Here's 2 water. I do maintain
First player.
first player.
Yeah. You're probably in first
first
place.
place.
You're probably in first place.
Since I'm still here, I can only build this super project. It's the one above the current timeline that I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the particle collider. I have to spend all of these things. So it's both of my breakthrough tiles because I do not have that specific one.
Off
So
they
it's
go.
any square and any triangle. I also have to spend a uranium, which is blue, 1 titanium because I sent out an engineer, I guess technically,
Yeah.
a gold, and 2 water.
Water.
So
So many things.
there's that. And then now, let me just put away my stuff.
Okay.
Okay, now the super project takes up the space of 2 buildings. I can choose to place it here or here.
Yeah.
And I think I'm just going to go here.
You're not into the red.
I'm not into the red. It's kind of expensive for me. But now, as a free action, I can turn in a neutronium into any 2 resource or vice versa. So that can help me in the future.
Not to
when I
mention
need
it's 7 points.
more neutronium. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's 7 points, exactly. And it's also one of the end game conditions. I think this one, right? This stands for super projects?
Correct.
That's me. Back to you.
Okay. All right. While I have the opportunity, let's go ahead and hire somebody else. So
Okay.
I'm going to send out a scientist to represent a genius, to
Okay.
represent an administrator. I guess it doesn't really matter because there's no
Yes, yes,
genius out
yes.
there. Put that there. It's going to cost me 1 water.
Uh-huh.
And then I'm going to take this engineer that's sitting here, and I'd like the bonus of having that power core
The energy.
energy. Yeah.
There you
So
go.
there we go. That way I can repopulate my exosuits going into the next future rounds.
Nice. You have a lot of workers.
I do. Yeah.
I don't. And now that spot,
It's gone.
I can't hire anybody. Mistakes. Well, I guess it doesn't super matter because all I have left are a scientist and an administrator, and neither of those stay motivated. So I'm just gonna go ahead and send out a scientist. What color resources do I need? I think I'm just gonna go for double titanium.
Okay.
So I'll go here, and I'm gonna take 1 for the spot, and then 1 of the titanium that are available.
Okay.
So that's me.
It's a good spot. All right, you took the spot that I wanted because I wanted the double titanium. So I think I'm gonna have to send somebody out. I'm gonna send out that newly hired engineer, and let's go ahead and put them in this upper zone right there.
Okay.
So I know I definitely want this titanium, and then I'm gonna get that uranium from the
For the
permanently
spot.
one.
Yep.
Exactly. Yep. So that's my action.
All right, back to me. I only have this one last worker available. And before I do anything, I'm going to take a free action via my particle collider. I only have so many opportunities to use this. And so this is going to allow me to turn in 2 of any resource, which is going to be 2 titanium in exchange for a neutronium.
Look at you.
So thanks. There's that.
Okay.
And for my action, I am going to go and travel through time.
Off
so
you go.
off I go. I'm going to go over here with my administrator, which lets me move back 1 space on the current timeline. So you look at the place that you're currently on,
the current timeline,
which is here, and I can move back at most 1 space. And now I can pay back the 1 titanium that I borrowed.
Which is good.
So it's great because now I don't have to roll for it. Only Naveen will. And
maybe
I get 2 points. So there's that.
Okay, well, I'm going to do something extremely similar to what you just did.
You're gonna
Super similar. Yeah, so I'm going to send out a scientist specifically because I get them back.
So nice.
I'm going to drop it in right here. I can go up to 3 spaces away, 1 space away. I will turn in 1 of the titanium that I just acquired.
Nice.
And off this goes. Now, I go up here. Now, this is only worth 1 point for me, but hopefully if I can get out here, it's going to be worth way more.
Big bucks.
So that's off my plate. That's good. Yep. And that wraps up my turn.
All right. Well, I have nothing else to do, so I'm going to pass.
Okay, I have 2 more administrators here, so let's go ahead and send 1 administrator into this slot here, and I'll take a 5 water.
There you go.
Very good. And then I want to put this here so badly,
but
I want more workers going into the next round without having to do this whole...
Well, I have my method.
Yeah, I kind of don't want to ever take that method.
No?
I kind of want to just max this thing out and just keep getting 2 points for continuing to do it.
I mean, if I continue to be cruel, then you're going to have this in the bag, whatever it is. This one.
Yeah. So I will not use this worker here. I wish I could have.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are you passing?
I'm going to pass.
All right. That is the end of the actions phase. Let's do some cleanup.
Okay.
And it's looking like just these, right? These ones will stay motivated?
So that one for you does not.
scientist.
That's a scientist. Yeah. For me, because this is an engineer, they do come back to me motivated.
You know, I don't think I'm doing too well in this case. This is a rough start.
This scientist comes back motivated because of that.
Okay.
And then everybody else, I believe, is going to get shifted into an unmotivated location.
Okay. I think all of mine literally come back exhausted. Here's yours.
Thank you.
And I also have these 2. Oh, can you pass me that one up there, please?
Sure. They also come back exhausted.
Yeah,
They
because
all
the only motivated spots are these ones, right?
Yeah, and then if you have any on your personal board.
All right. Well, there's that.
Yeah.
Now we go into cleanup. Oh, my free actions as well.
Yep.
The game does not end yet, and we are only in the 2nd round, so no asteroid impact. So now let's go ahead and move on to the 3rd round.
3rd round.
So these will actually go all the way forward to the 3rd timeline. And we start the preparation phase by flipping over the next super project, which is the dark matter converter. Oh my gosh, I like this one.
You'd have to kill somebody, though.
But you can convert them into a genius.
Yeah.
So this is worth 6 points. And like Naveen was saying, this is a free action that requires you to kill off one of your workers, but you're really converting them into either a genius or a neutronium or an energy core. So that's kind of nice.
That does seem pretty nice.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yep.
So let's go ahead and repopulate the board and shift the building tiles. All right, we are now fully populated. No administrators this round, but we do have a lovely neutronium. So let's go ahead and move on to the next phase, which is actually just me. I have to roll for my one.
Roll double.
My one thing
Double.
here. And the paradox.
Just like me. I rolled a double.
Nothing.
1.
1. Okay, may I have 1, please?
Yeah.
So if I get 1 more, then I'm going to take an anomaly.
Right.
That's probably going to happen.
So I don't have to roll because I'm not in here.
Correct. Now let's go ahead and power up our exosuits. I need to be very conservative this round because I have nothing. Do you know how many you're gonna?
I do.
All right. Ready?
Yes.
1, 2, 3.
5.
3. 5. Naveen, get out of town.
Oh, I'm staying.
So I'm 2 free, 1 of these.
So I'm going to drop this one in here, and I could spend resources or the power. I'm going to spend 2 power.
Nice.
Yikes.
You know, I will admit, this is my first time. I don't know if this is an excuse. This is probably an excuse. But this is my first time playing as this asymmetric side of this path.
Amina.
And I don't know how to... This has always been the hardest part of the game for me.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to manage my resources properly.
At least you used all of the 5 that you used
exosuits.
last time, right? Like
I did.
Yeah.
It's true.
Nothing worse than powering up, spending something, and then it just sits there
Because that is
that
possible.
can happen.
That can happen.
It's happened to me before.
Spend the resource and then find, I don't have the workers needed to send them out, or it's just not going to benefit me.
Not good. No.
So don't do that.
Yep.
All right, warp phase. So we're going to decide how many of these
baddies do we need, huh?
Ready? 1, 2, 3, reveal. I have 2. And my thinking here is I am honestly probably going to get an anomaly next round.
Yeah.
And when that happens, you actually forgo rolling for the rest of your warp tiles.
Yep.
And
then you get to pluck one off.
you get to pluck one off if you'd like to. And I'm thinking that
to be a good one.
maybe I won't have to pay back the exosuit that I borrow.
Yeah.
Now, when paying back these exosuits, you have to pay back one that's still on your board. So keep that in mind. I'm just hoping to not have to do that.
Yeah, so you get 1 exosuit. You don't have to pay anything for it, but we both also get 2 titanium, or 1 each. So
there's yours, and here's mine.
Okay.
All right, ready for actions?
Yeah.
I'm still first player, right?
You are still first player.
All right.
Are you going to crack the whip?
Yes, I have to.
Okay, yeah.
I just looked at my board and realized that everybody's tired. Ugh.
Sleepies.
Don't ever work with me because I guess I'm cruel.
You are.
Here we go. So
they go.
morale is really low. I need to stop doing this, honestly, because if I do this too much, I'm going to lose a worker, and I don't have that many workers as it is. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to construct a building using an engineer, and I'm going to construct a water building.
Yeah.
And it's going to be the top one that
assuming
requires me to
it's this
spend
one.
gold.
Yeah.
Yes. So I do have to pay 1 titanium.
Too bad you didn't get the building that converts into gold.
I know. I made a mistake. Mistakes were
You put it
definitely
back,
made.
actually,
I did.
if I remember.
Thank you for the reminder.
Want
Anyway,
everybody to know.
this building, whoever I put there stays motivated. So finally, that's going to work in my favor. But I have to spend 1 gold. But in return, I get 6 water and 1 victory point.
Every time you activate it.
Every time I activate it. It's kind of nice. It'll help me use the supply action versus forcing my workers to be motivated. So there you go.
That is true. All right, I have all these exosuits. I'd like to hire somebody. So I'm going to send an administrator out to go hire. We're going to go here, and I'm going to take the genius this time because I want the wild ability to get any one of these. I'm low on the power cores, so I'm going to take this one as my wild.
There you go.
So that way I can power up more exosuits in the future.
Okay,
and now I have a
nice.
genius.
Now, before I forget to do this, I think I'm going to send out my genius to serve as an engineer over here. What do I need? I'm going to go for gold.
You need gold, yeah.
Yeah. So it's going to be 1 gold, which I'll take from the supply, and then I'm taking
Oh, interesting.
the neutronium. Why?
I thought you'd get 2 gold so you don't have to worry about it in the future.
Why? For what?
Well, so you can hit this round and then hit that again the next round without having to worry about gold.
Yeah, no.
Okay, yeah.
I need...
That's what I thought.
I have tunnel vision for my evacuation.
You got to get
condition.
out of here, yeah.
So I don't even know if I'm going to meet this criteria, honestly.
Maybe you can do this.
I need to build these buildings. Yeah, that's not a bad
That's
idea,
not a bad
Naveen.
idea. Yeah, I know. It's a lot of work, though,
It is.
and it costs water.
Right.
So I think I need some resources. I'm going to go ahead and send out an engineer, and I'm going to take this slot up here. So I want 1 uranium, please.
Okay.
And then I'm going to take this 1 titanium that's down here.
All right.
Perfect.
Very good. Oh, you took the other. So there's only 1 uranium and 2 gold left. Well, I guess I will take that last spot.
Okay.
So here's a scientist going over here, which gets me 1 titanium for the spot.
Okay.
And I'm going to take a gold.
You will take a gold, yeah.
Yeah.
That seems right.
All right, back to you.
Okay. Well, I think I'm going to construct. So I'm going to send out a genius to represent an engineer, and we're going to go into this slot here. It's going to cost me 1 water.
All right.
There you go. And I want to construct my second. I can never remember what this red.
The red building.
The red building is, but I'm going to construct this because I need 3 of them to be able to even be eligible. Very similar to kind of how you need 3 of these.
Right.
So because that is going to represent an engineer, I get 1 discount on titanium. So it's going to be 1 uranium, 1 titanium, 2 water. And then I get a choice between this one or this one. I'm going to take this one right here. So this one basically says I can spend a scientist to, it's worth 2 points at the end, and then I can just pluck off 1 of my warp tiles.
Okay.
So that means I can confidently put out potentially 2 warp tiles during the reveal so that every round I can do this.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, because... Again, if I play scientist down here with my special ability, I get to take them back into the next round.
Confidently put out. You're assuming I'm going to put out a warp tile every round.
I am. Yeah, pretty much, yeah. So, but I'm 2/3 of the way there to get that done.
That is true.
Yeah.
Done?
That's it.
All right. Well, I'm off to send this
go.
scientist to the research spot. Let's go
look
ahead and get a
at
breakthrough tile. And I'm thinking,
Which one? You like this one, you said?
I do like this super project, but I don't know what to set.
Well, I will say that there's 2 triangles showing.
Yeah,
So maybe you set the triangle.
I guess if I care about that temporal tourism, sure, I'm going to set the triangle.
Okay.
Because at least it'll be useful for
Something else, potentially.
potentially anything.
Yep.
I'll roll this.
All right, so you are looking for the
please.
people symbol.
I do want the people symbol. Come on, people. Nope.
Chip.
Nope. Nope. Nope.
So a triangular chip.
This one.
Found it.
Right?
Yep, that's it.
Okay. So that's not great because I can't even use it towards it.
No.
I can use this towards the dark matter converter though, so I would just need one more. I would need a circle if I really want this.
Just have to go back, yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
Okay,
Back to you.
back to me. Well, seeing as I have 2 exosuits but only 1 worker, I think it's the right thing to do is to send out this scientist to go here, spend 1 water to bring back a scientist, which then gets me 2 water. And then now I have
Nice.
somebody working. Can I have 2 water, please?
Yes.
Because that's the benefit. That's right there.
Wow, you have so many workers.
Must maintain more workers.
I don't have any more exosuits.
No
what
more.
did I do? Something went wrong that is spiraling me down a path.
Yeah.
I'm going to send my administrator onto my water spot, my water building.
Yep.
So it does cost me a gold to take this action. But the nice thing is they're going to stay motivated.
Yep.
So I could use them again to supply on the next turn if I choose to do that instead of being cruel. So I'll go there. It's going to get me 6 water and a victory point,
Yeah, I'll get
actually.
you a victory point.
So
It's our first victory
water.
point symbol.
thank you.
You're winning.
All right, that's me. Back to
Very
you.
good. Okay, so I think it's about time that I do this action over here.
Okay.
So, but I'll do that after. Wait, after I do this action, I'm gonna put my scientist into this slot over here, and I'm gonna pay 7 water to bring all these people over. So here's my 5,
Okay.
6, 7.
Thank you.
And then I'm going to move this up now to this slot. So now the next time I do this is going to cost me 8 water.
Yeah.
But I do get all these workers here ready to work.
And that's going to be at the end of the game. If you don't bring this down, that's 5 points.
5 points, yeah.
And if you can get it to 7 and then keep tapping it,
Every
it's
time
2
you get 2 points,
Every time. So
yeah.
it just requires a lot of water,
It does, yeah.
but it's nice. It's nice.
Nice to do.
All right, before I take my last action, I'm going to take my free particle collider action, and I think I'm gonna
Convert the purple.
revert this back
Yeah.
to resources because I need to get some points somehow, and I'm thinking I'll need to go back in time and just repay that. So I'm gonna get let's go with 1 uranium
Okay.
and titanium.
Yep.
So 1 blue and 1 gray. All right, so that was a free action.
Yep.
So then with my final worker, I am going to go back in time.
Off you go.
Here we go. So I'm traveling backwards 1 space.
Which
in
is
red, right?
the max you can go. So
Yes, it's
now's
only
the
one.
time to do it. Yeah.
Or else it's going to be lost to me until I can build another building that will let me go that far.
Sure.
And I'm going to pay back the uranium.
Okay.
So there's that.
So you get this off.
I do, and I
you
get to
do score.
2 points.
That's good.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's pushing up. That's it.
This is one of the end game criteria here for us. So yeah.
Yes, it is this one.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, that's me. Back to you.
Okay. Well, I spent all my water to get all this over, so let's put this administrator onto this slot and get that big, beautiful, dark blue 5-er.
That blue beauty.
Beauty. The Hope Diamond.
Huh?
The Hope Diamond.
The Hope Diamond?
Oh my gosh. Titanic?
I didn't remember that it was called
yeah.
that.
Oh yeah. There you go.
All right, done.
Anyway, yeah, that's that action.
I have nothing left, so I'm passing.
You have nothing to show for it. All right.
Correct.
Scientist, let's just drop you on here for another water, and now I get a victory point because
Okay.
all my scientists in that section will come back to me.
I'm no longer winning.
So that you're no longer winning.
That's your single if you wanted to keep it separate.
I will keep it separate. I should probably say, remember how I mentioned I was going to try to go out there? I should
Yeah, don't waste your exosuit now.
I'm definitely not going to do that. So that water that I got passively here,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go here, spend the water.
Okay.
And honestly, I'm just trying to look for a set. So I'm going to set the triangle here, and let's just go ahead and roll whatever it is. I'll take it.
time?
Oh, that's this one right here.
Ugh, can we trade? Do you accept trades?
No.
There you go.
But my thing, honestly, is I want to try to probably collect this because I have 1, 2, 3, and you can't really see it here, 4, 5 scientists.
They're everywhere.
So I want to have as many 2-to-1 scientists to these tokens by the time it's time to escape.
Okay, so you're right now at 2 sets, so it's going to be 8
I'm
points.
at 2 sets, but
so you
I'm
can have a
trying
total
to
of 14 points as it
trying to get to
stands.
18 points. I'm just gonna say it.
Wow.
I'm just gonna say it.
What a nice
That is-
position to be in.
That is.
I don't even have a second power plant.
You
I don't
don't.
know if I'm going to meet my evacuation condition. It is not required for you to actually evacuate. It's just
It's
highly
just a good way to get
recommended.
points. Yeah.
Yes.
So I do have these 2 other spots, and unfortunately, I would like to not use this because I don't want to have to take this off. I'd like to pay it back and get points that way. So I'm actually going to pass with these 2 workers hanging out.
You're done?
That's it.
All right. That is the end of the actions. So let's go ahead and pull back these workers. Let's always start with the motivated ones. And again, it is the engineers.
So that's a scientist.
This
so
is a
they don't-
scientist.
So this is an engineer. They
This
will
is a
come back
genius.
motivated, ready to go.
Yes. I think this one as well.
That one
for
comes
me
back to you,
stays
and this one,
motivated.
because there are scientists in this row or column, row, comes back to me.
All right. Everybody else.
Everybody else is a sleepy
Comes
head.
back sleepy. All right, we have cleaned up our workers. It is not time for this, although this is going to happen at the end of the next round.
Yeah.
The end of the game is not here yet, so next era, here we come. We are now entering the fourth round. How are you feeling, by the way?
You know, I think I will be able to escape.
Yes?
I don't know. I don't know. You do have that building over there, and you are getting some purples.
We're not going to be able to escape this round,
No.
to be clear. It's the end of the fourth round where the asteroid hits, and then next round we will have the ability to evacuate.
Right.
I am not at my evacuation condition.
Neither am I.
So I do have some fears, but yeah, we'll see how this plays out.
Stuff to
So
do.
let's go into a preparation phase, shall we?
Okay, what's the next one?
Next super project is the Outback Conditioner.
Ah,
This is a really nice super project.
That is a good
because
one.
it basically gives you your own worker placement spot for one of these 3 world capital
Yes.
actions. So that's nice.
That is a good one.
Especially because we had blocked out the right side here.
We did.
Which again is a variant. In a 2-player game, you do not have to block that off. But because we were not incorporating any of the modules, we figured let's at least do that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So this is next rounds.
Mm-hmm.
And now we are going to repopulate the board and the buildings. All right, the board is fully repopulated and there are no engineers
None.
this round, but
Zero.
we do have 2 administrators. We do have the appearance of a new kind of interesting building. This is a free action that gets you 2 points as well as a paradox.
Yeah.
So you can weigh those, you can do the cost benefit analysis on that, I guess.
Yeah.
And now we go into the paradox phase, which is just going to be me because I'm the one who has a majority of the warp tiles there. So I'm thinking I'm going to roll 1 and I'm just going to take an anomaly. And I roll 2.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter because that would make me take my 3rd anyway.
Yep.
So
So you fill it out.
Yep.
Immediately when you fill it out, you have to take one of these anomaly tokens,
Yep.
correct? And this has a -3 on it.
I can place this anywhere because of my asymmetric board.
Right.
So I'm just going to place it there. And yeah,
Might as well.
might as well. And I can now immediately remove one of these warp tiles. I'm removing the exosuit.
Sure.
So now this exosuit that I powered up last round was free.
Yeah. So you do not get to move up your track, but
Right.
you don't have to pay that back, which is great.
Correct. All right. Speaking of powering up our exosuits, shall we do that?
Yes. Oh, I was actually supposed to move this person into my inactive zone. I missed that part.
Whew. I am stressed. All right. Do you know how many exosuits you're powering up?
Yeah, I think I do.
All right. 1, 2, 3,
4.
4.
Okay. Ooh, that feels good. It's good to know that you are also 4. So it's going to cost me.
Why?
Because I want to have, equal at least. It
I'm
doesn't
turning these 2 resources.
Okay, I'm going to just spend this 1 to represent the thing that I need. There we go.
Okay.
4.
I hope we haven't been forgetting the water.
2 water for
So
us.
we're just going to make sure we get it this time.
I know.
Here's 2 water
I don't know
for
if
you.
we miss water
I
one
feel
of the
like
times.
we have been getting
Really?
it. I don't
feel
know.
like we might not have.
Could be wrong.
Yeah.
Time to warp, shall we?
Oh, yes, that first, yes.
Ready?
I'm ready.
1, 2, 3.
2 of them. Oh,
Nothing.
well,
Man,
neat.
I could have done 1.
Could have done 1. So I get a uranium
So much
and
regret.
a gold, please.
I have so much regrets.
Wow.
So many regrets.
I assumed you were going to do at least 1.
Yeah, I got scared.
Yeah,
I'm going to be honest. I got a little freaked out.
you did.
All right. Well, actions, shall we? I'm going to start by sending out my genius. I
Okay.
didn't know what order to do this in because I have no idea where Naveen is going to go first. And I want at least 1 free action, I don't have to spend water for everything. So I'm going to go to the breakthrough tiles
Off
first.
you go.
And I think I'm just going to set the shape. I'm going to go with square.
Okay.
So here we go. Oh, it's that.
That one.
I have some decisions that need to be
So
made.
the square DNA
helix. Okay. So
Interesting.
that's it. Now it goes to you.
Very good. Well, knowing that all you have is an administrator,
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about racing here unless you want to be evil.
Unless I take my free action.
Which is being evil to your people to go down even more.
8
You have
points at
plenty
the
of
end of the
water to not do that, so I'm not worried about that spot.
Okay.
So I think I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do this one. I'm going to take this action here.
Okay.
So I'm going to spend 1 water. And then I know I'm going to definitely set the die to circle.
Okay.
Because I would like a full set. 1, 2, and then circle would be 3. So
Sure.
let's just see what I get. Question mark.
What would you like?
You know what? Let's go with helix.
Okay.
DNA helix, because that's what's on this one in the future. Maybe I can get it.
The Outback conditioner. This
Yes.
is really nice.
That does seem pretty nice. Okay, so that was my action.
All right,
Back to you.
back to me. Well, you called my bluff. I'm going to go here because I can't continue to lose points.
No.
So I'm going here with my administrator, which will stay motivated. I now have to spend 4 water because that's how much water is showing underneath my morale token.
Get out of the hole a little bit.
Yeah, and they're going to be slightly more motivated. They're still really angry with me, honestly.
They're like, yeah.
To the tune of 4 points. But I will get these 4
You threw a
workers
pizza
back.
party.
I
You know, everyone's like, yeah, well, we like pizza, but
Ice cream? No, I think I took them out to a nice dinner and apologized, but they're still a little bit bitter. So,
I think once you get to the gold, then they'll be happy.
all right, back to you.
All right, so now that you have people, I'm going to send out my engineer, and let's go ahead and construct a building. I
Okay.
want to do it while it's cheap. I am going to finish up my escape plan here. So I have 2 uranium, 1 titanium because I get a discount,
Okay.
1 gold, which is what I needed when I spent the warp tile, and then 2 water. Off it goes. Oh, there.
Oh, sorry.
There it goes.
Thank you.
And I'm going to take this one. This one's kind of interesting. This one says it's worth only 1 point, but as a free action, I can get 2 points and then put out one of these
paradox?
paradox tokens.
Interesting.
So we'll
I
see.
mean, just do it one more time. You've been pretty much avoiding the paradox.
Yeah. So
tokens this
it's.
far.
I think I have to time it just right.
Yeah.
But it's going to be worth at least 1 point, if not maybe a couple more points. So.
Very good.
Yep.
All right, now that I have everybody back home with me, I'm going to send out a scientist to this spot up here. So that is going to cost me 2 water.
So you're going to try to roll the die.
And
huh?
I'm going to go and take the research action. And I
Okay.
think I'm just going to set the shape to a circle as well.
Okay. You want a full set.
I want yes, sure.
Okay. Circle
It's like
target.
a radar. Yeah. What is that?
Like a target circle.
This one.
That's one. Yep.
Okay, there we go. I have a full set now.
What are you doing, Monique?
We'll see. I don't even know. Maybe I don't even know.
I don't know what you're doing. Oh, you're
Back to
probably
you.
doing this. All right, I got to hire somebody. Let's send out the scientist.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to go here, and I'm going to hire the scientist. So,
Okay.
scientist for a scientist. That's going to get me 2 water, please.
Very good. Here you
They're
go.
going to come ready to go.
There you go.
Perfect.
All right. So, unfortunately, I think I made a mistake
Okay.
at some point because I need an energy core. And I would like to hire a genius to do it, but I don't have an administrator or a genius to be able to send out. So my worker management is not quite right
Okay.
right now, which means I need to waste a whole action going here to convert something to an energy core.
So, either one of your purples or 3 water to an energy core.
How unideal. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I will do the water.
Okay.
I guess I'll spend 5 water and I'll get
2 back.
2 back. And I'm
then
going to
you
get the
power.
energy core that I so wanted. In my heart of hearts, I now have it.
What are you doing?
Back to
Oh,
you.
energy core in your heart of hearts.
Yeah.
Well, I have exactly 8 water. I think this is a fantastic time to send my engineer to go motivate, give a good speech here. So 5, 6, 7, 8.
Very good. What did
We
you
are
say?
going to bring pizza party, everyone.
What's up with you?
And there will be a slip and slide.
Now you know
All
the
right.
way to Naveen's heart.
Yeah, pizza party and a slip and
Pizza party.
slide. There we go. So they're all there. This is going to go up here. So now it's worth 7 points. And if I do it again, I'm going to kind of Mario Brothers, hit the thing and get
Okay.
2 points every time.
Well, I don't have enough water yet. So I think I have to go. Well, first I have to take a free action
Okay.
to exchange one of my sweet, sweet neutronium that I've been saving up
To
so
resources.
dearly.
Yeah.
And exchange it for 1 gold and another titanium.
Sure.
And then, and you know what? I just realized that I'm one worker short of what I needed to do. So I'm actually one water short, which I was going to try to solve by getting more water, which needed a worker.
Yes.
And then I would need to go back in time before sending out an exosuit to be able to build this. So, my gosh. I'm in a hole.
You're one exosuit short, or AKA one worker short.
I'm in a hole. I'm in the deepest hole. Just leave me here. Send me food from time to time.
Finish
Naveen.
You can do it. You'll find a way. I'm not
going to evacuate. You guys, this is not the path. Okay?
Not in this turn.
The path of salvation is not the one
will be left
that will
behind.
lead you to your future.
All right.
Wow. Okay. You know what? I'm just going to try to remedy this a little bit by not taking the titanium and instead taking a gold
Oh, you're going back on.
with that free action. It's still within the same thing that I just did.
Double gold.
Anywho, I'm going to send an engineer out over here.
Oh, okay.
And so I have to pay a water. I'm just going to construct this super project. I already have the breakthrough tile that I need for it.
And you have all the resources needed.
And I do have the resources for it because I sent out an engineer. So
you get a
I
one
pay,
discount on titanium.
Yeah, and I'm already here, so it doesn't require me to go back in time.
Sure.
So it's going to be 1 titanium, 2 gold. Oh my gosh, my water.
You are a water short.
Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I'm losing it. Hold on. Let me get the water back.
Yeah.
I can't do this. This is illegal. I have to go here first. I'm going to go here and I'm going to spend a gold. This is what happens when you don't get your water engine
You need a
going
water
early.
engine in this game. For
I
sure.
did not do that early because I was too afraid of spending my neutronium.
That's right.
My brain. Okay, so I'm going here and I have to spend 1 gold, which I'm not going to have enough gold.
You're like in this one of those slide puzzles
What do I do?
where it's like if I could just move the one thing.
Oh my God, Naveen.
I know. I see it. I see the struggle. I see everything is off by 1.
Do you see the pain?
I do. You're
I'm
short
going
1
through
exosuit,
at the
or you're
moment?
short 1. Yeah.
All right. Well, okay. I'm so sorry if this has been confusing, but my final answer is I'm going to go here.
Okay.
I'm going to pay the gold, and I'm going to get 6 water
And a victory point.
and a victory point.
You do get a victory point.
Thank you.
There you go.
This is not going to turn out well, but we're going to finish out the game with pride because that is what we do.
Yeah,
when
yeah.
times are bad.
Just got to see where it goes, you know?
Just see, it's a journey. It's all about the journey, right, Naveen?
I agree.
Right. Okay, back to you.
Okay, so that was your turn.
Yeah.
All right. So, I think I'm going to go get some more resources, seeing that in order to put out more exosuits, I can spend resources to do so because these are going to get covered up completely, and I need this desperately. So, let's go ahead and put out a scientist out into the world over there. And I think I'm going to take the middle one. So, I'll get a gold,
Okay.
and then I'll take a uranium.
This one? The blue?
Yeah, considering I'm on the hook for gold and uranium in the future, I think
Right.
that'll be a thing.
Very good. All right, back to me for what is most likely my final action.
Okay.
I am going to go back and attempt this again. So I'm going to go here.
Okay.
I'm going to spend my 1 water.
Okay.
And instead of all that super project madness, I'm just going to build another one of these.
Yeah, that's good.
So let's just do it, right?
Well, this one's worth 3 points, and this one's worth less than 3 points, I think.
So 1 neutronium, 1 titanium,
Because you get a discount.
because of my discount, and 2 water.
2 water.
So I was able to do that. I'm going to just take the one that doesn't require me to spend water because I have a water problem.
Yes, that makes sense. And this is worth more points. This is worth 3 points here.
Right.
Yeah, it seems right.
So there you go. That's it.
I was
Back to
eyeing
you.
that piece. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, you were?
I was, yeah.
Well, that's a success. At least I did that.
I couldn't build it. It was going to get covered up, so then I eyed it, and then it was gone. Okay. All right, I am actually out of water right now, so I'm going to go get 5 water. So I'm going to spend my administrator onto the slot here and just get the nice fiber.
What did you call it earlier? The blue beauty?
The blue beauty, the hope diamond,
The whole
if you will. Rose wore it. That's me.
Oh, I pass. I'm
okay.
out for the round.
Well, I think it's time to go back in time. So I'm going to go ahead and put a scientist here, knowing that they're going to come back ready and motivated. We're going to go up to 3 spaces away. We're going to go here, spending the 1 titanium to get this off of my back.
Nice.
And then that's going to push this up just a little bit right there.
Very good.
All right, so you're still passed.
Yep.
Might as well do this. So I'm going to spend a scientist down here to get 1 water and 1 victory point. So let's go ahead, because they're going to come back to me ready to go.
There you go.
All right. So I'm going to roll here. So this is kind of, remember how I bought this tile? I'm gonna definitely, unless I roll like a perfect 0, which I highly doubt.
Yeah.
If I do this, then I'm gonna have to take one of those paradox or
Anomalies?
I
Oh,
don't
just take one. You're showing so many points. It's okay.
want.
I have one too. Join the club, Naveen.
I
The
know.
water is freezing, but you're still invited.
That's true. I am invited. Should I do it?
Yeah.
All right.
Do it.
Free action. Let's go.
For 2 points.
Why not? 2 points. So I'll get 2 victory points, and then I must take one of these.
Uh-huh.
Why not? Let's just have fun with it. And I'll take 2 victory points.
Because you can still remove.
1.
You have so many workers that as soon as you evacuate, you don't need all of those scientists.
I can just
you can kill off a
bail
scientist
one. Yeah, exactly.
and pay the water.
And not have to deal with it.
And you won't get the negative points for that.
That's it. That's exactly it. And I can only do this once per round, so that was the time there.
And the resources, by the way, you have to pay.
And the resources.
Water
that
and
is
resources.
true. That is a thing. Seeing as I have this spot here and I don't have the mechanism to go back to this spot twice because I only have one of these, I will spend my scientist to go here since I'm going to get them back anyway. I'm going to pluck one of these 2 off. It really doesn't matter. So I'm just going to go ahead and get the gold off.
Okay.
Just like that.
So, you're not paying. That's right.
I'm not paying. Yeah, so I'm basically saying I get to pull off
Yeah.
one of the warp tiles. I do not get to go up on this track, but I can only really pay back this loan once because I only have one of these buildings to do it.
Right.
So then that is going to be me passing now at this point.
All right.
Yeah.
That is the end of the actions. So let's go into cleanup.
Okay. So all of my scientists, where I have them placed, are going to go into the motivated, ready to go spot.
Okay.
And then I do have a scientist here that's also going to do the exact same thing. So they're all motivated.
Nice. I have 2 workers who remain motivated. This one and this one. And then everybody else comes back. Sleepy.
Sleepy time.
All right, and now that we have reached the end of the 4th round,
yeah.
the asteroid impact occurs. And so, thematically, when this happens, it actually hits a very desolate part of the world.
That's good.
But it destroys the world capital.
Yeah.
And this is going to happen over time. So, a few things are going to change. The first thing is we're going to flip this over to its evacuation side. And so, now anybody can take this action by sending an exosuit there to evacuate, assuming they've met their evacuation condition, which only you have done.
I have.
Then we're going to place these bonus tiles on all of the world capital spots. And so they are actually grouped off screen, and you shuffle them, and then you randomly select one for each space.
We'll talk about them as we place them out.
Yeah. All right. The bonus tiles have been placed. And so now, from here on out, when somebody places an exosuit on an action space that has a bonus tile, they gain that bonus in addition to taking the action. But at the end of the round, when it's time to take back your exosuit from that spot, you actually flip this over because it destroys that action space.
The city's crumbling. Everything's
Yes.
just falling apart. So it's basically one last time you can take the action.
The world capital specifically is getting destroyed. And so this is actually one of the ways in which the game can end. If all 6 in a 2-player game of these spots are destroyed, then that is going to trigger the end of the game instead of going to the 7th round.
Right.
And so just so you are aware, these bonuses are specific to the action. So anybody going here, if they're using the construct action to build a super project, they get an additional 2 points right away.
Pretty good.
This spot just gets you a discount on one of those 3 resource types when constructing. If you go here when taking the higher action, you actually get to power up an exosuit.
Yeah.
In addition to getting your worker. This spot allows you to basically take this action twice. This bonus over here lets you set the second die, so you basically get to choose the exact piece you want.
Right.
And then this bonus over here, after taking this action, allows you to return up to 2 of your
Would have been nice.
your paradox tokens. Now, in addition to those, players have to block off 2 of their power-up spots. That is my only benefit, so I don't have to block off these spots.
That is Monique's
But
benefit.
I still have to pay these resources. This combination has been a bit tough for me. And the last change that happens is each round when we prepare the resources here, we're going to ignore the topmost resource on the card and instead replace it with a neutronium.
It'll always be.
Yes, because the asteroid brings neutronium. All right, are we ready to move on to the 5th round?
Yes.
Here we go.
So we need to see what the next
Yes,
thing that we
let's
can
move
construct
our pieces over here. We are now past the asteroid impact tile, and we're going to flip over the second to last super project, which is a Quantum Chameleon. It's worth 5 points. You have to place a genius there. And it essentially allows you to take the ability of any super project or building that's been built by any player. So this is probably a lot more useful in higher player counts.
Right.
But there you go.
Considering
That's
I'm
that.
not doing any of these.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and reseed the board and the buildings.
Okay.
All right, we are fully set up, and now let's go ahead and roll for our warp tiles. So
You're
starting with me.
first.
Okay. I mean, I have a lot of space. One. May I have one, please?
You get one. All right. So for me, I would love to roll a blank.
I would
A
love for
blank
you.
would be fantastic. I did roll a double at one point.
Please just roll one.
Blank. Blank.
One is all I ask for.
One. All right. So that fills this in, and then that means these all come off.
Yes.
It would have been nice.
You take an anomaly.
I do. So I
And
gotta
you
put
have to
this-
place it right
I have to
there.
place it here because it's the lowest for this left.
Yeah, it's the cheapest.
Well, there you go. There you are.
And if there's a tie for cheapest positions, you get to choose which row to place it in.
Right. Okay. That's
Would you
where
like
it shall remain.
To remove that?
No, because I'd like to go back in time and try to score some points by not doing that.
All right, let's move on to our power-up phase. Do you know how many you're powering up?
Yeah, I do.
All right, 1, 2, 3,
3.
4. Okay,
Yeah.
I have enough resources exactly for 4. So I guess I might as well spend the 1 resource for this and the 1 energy core that I worked so hard to collect. Well, yeah, I'm spending it. So I'm going to spend these 2.
Okay, so I'm going to spend the core and a gold.
Okay.
Core and gold,
And you get
unfortunately.
1 water.
1 water
Because you don't get
A
the water
water for the
that.
blocked off spots.
Yeah. Oh, although I do. So I guess that is kind of nice.
Yeah.
All right. It's not as good as having a scientist genius for the entire
I know.
game, though.
I know.
Let's go ahead and move into the warp phase.
All right, let's do it.
We have a guest, by the way.
Mr. Dexter has made his
This
appearance.
is, yeah, he wants to be part of the warp tile decision. This happens from time to time when we're filming.
Yeah,
All right, ready?
I'm ready.
1, 2, 3.
Two.
two. I
for
went
you.
with 2.
So I get gold and titanium.
Okay, I get gold and neutronium.
Off you do.
So you said gold and titanium?
Gold and titanium, yep.
All right, there you go.
Thank you.
All right. So I think that's it. Now we go into actions, right?
Yep.
It's going to be starting with me. Oh, it's a bit different now because we have all of these bonuses available to us.
Yeah.
You know, I think I'm going to start by sending out my administrator,
Okay.
and I'm going to send them here because I get to power up another exosuit, which is nice.
I would have definitely taken that.
And
so, yeah.
I'm going to hire a genius since
Also
I'm
would have
sending
done
out
that.
an
Yeah.
administrator. For my bonus, I'm taking an energy core because I assume we're going to have 1 more round. I think probably one more round only. So what else do I get? So I got the
Genius.
genius,
You took
the energy core. Oh yes, my power suit. Okay.
I mean, that's pretty good.
That's the perk of going first this round.
I would have absolutely taken that, and I would have taken the energy core as well.
Okay, back to you.
Well, seeing as this is completely clear, let's go ahead and take the free action before I forget. I'm going to take 2 points and then take one of those paradox tokens as
Okay.
a penalty for doing that.
Very
I'm going
good.
to take a 5 down and give back 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, so that was my pre-action, my free action. Okay, so I see something that would be very, very good. I am going to go ahead and build a building. So I'm going to send out my scientist to represent the engineer.
Okay.
And I'm going to drop it in onto this slot here. So I'm going to construct a building, and I get a 1 resource, not a neutronium discount. So I am going to construct this building here. This is worth 1 point, but I can manufacture 2 of those energy
Energy
cores. Yeah.
So you're going here, you said?
Yeah, so I get a 1 discount on titanium for the worker.
Yeah.
Plus the spot gives me a 1 discount on one of these resources. So I'm actually going to take a 2 titanium discount. Oh, I'm sorry, no, it's this one right here.
Yeah, so you have to pay
So
a
I'm going
gold.
to pay 1 gold, but that's going to be my discount. So I'm going to take the titanium discount for the worker.
Okay.
And then the gold I will not pay
Okay.
for this spot right there.
Okay, so you're paying 1 titanium and 2 water.
1 titanium and 2 water, correct? Yeah. So let's go ahead and give you that and 2 water for you.
Okay.
Couldn't think.
Yeah.
And there we go.
felt
That drops. I was like, what am I doing? There we go. So that drops in right there.
Okay.
Perfect.
Nice.
Okay. And then
So
that's
that's
going to
this
sit on
spot.
top. So
Yeah.
2 of the 6 are going to get destroyed for sure.
Okay. All right, back to me. I'm going to send out a genius. And I'm going to go here. So I'm going to hire twice.
Okay.
And it's going to be 1 administrator
Okay.
and a scientist.
So
and
the
again, I get to hire twice because of the bonus that I
Right.
landed on.
So the administrator gives you 1 point, and then the scientist you hired gets you 2 water.
Awesome.
Very good.
All right, that's me. Back to you.
All right, I'm going to go get some resources. I'm going to send out my genius,
Okay.
and we're going to take this spot here. So I'll take a gold and a titanium from here.
All right, there you go. Whew, thank goodness you
Why?
did not take the spot that I needed.
What's that?
What was that?
You like the gold in the Oh, wait a second.
I think it's the titanium and the neutronium.
purple, yeah.
Yeah, that's the exact.
I mean, I need
Spot.
that spot. That's,
You wanted to take
yeah,
that?
That's it.
Take backsies, right, Dexter?
Oh, do I bail?
Huh?
Is it time to show my escape plan? My
evacuate now?
Evacuation. It's my last worker here.
Technically, if you're going to be very technical, we're supposed to put a -3 point marker on the 2-player spot because whoever goes there second gets a -3 point deduction from their score.
We'll just know that
Yeah.
that person does not get 3 of their points.
Right.
So you cannot evacuate right now, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
I have not met my evacuation criteria.
Okay, knowing that, I'm going to buy some time and see what you do.
Okay.
So I'm going to put out a scientist on this spot because they represent geniuses for me. It's going to cost me 3 water, but I get 2 of those power cores.
Okay.
So can I get 2 back and then 2 of those cores?
2
Energy cores?
energy cores. Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
So that'll be useful if we end up going into another round.
Wait, you get water back as well?
No. I spent the 3 water.
Oh, 3
Yeah.
water. Okay. Well, I think you gave me a 5. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
think you're
Yes,
supposed
I
to
get
take 2
2
water
back.
back.
Yes.
You almost shorted yourself there.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay. Since you're delaying, I guess I might as well take the supply action with my administrator. I have to spend 4 water to do this. I'm just going to pay a 5
That
and
you
take
do.
back a 1. And then all of these, my morale goes back up. So I'm only at -2 points.
It worked out. Yeah.
And all these people become motivated.
You are creeping.
So now it goes back to you.
Well, then let's go back in time and turn in some stuff. So we are going to send out my scientists to go way back in time.
Okay.
Let's have them go. This one. I'm going to go here, and I am going to turn in and pay my dues.
Nice.
Get this off my back, and that pushes me up 1 notch.
Nice. Oh my goodness. I'm going to lose all of these, I think, except for the super project one. You're not in the super project game.
Not in the super project game.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and send a scientist back in time,
Okay.
or back in the timeline, 2 spaces. So I'm here.
Yep.
So I'm going to go 1, 2.
Yeah, you skip over this. This is not one of those spots that you have to worry about.
Yes, I'm going to pay back that titanium.
Sure.
So there it is. And now
You're back.
can push this forward.
Yeah.
So I'm at 6 points.
Very
Okay, back to you.
Well, this is going to definitely go another round,
Yeah.
the way I see it.
Yes, because you would need to fill these 3 spaces exactly
Yeah.
in order
so
for it to end now.
I'd like some water.
Okay.
I'll take 5 water, please.
Okay. Here you go.
Okay, back to you.
I guess it's time to push Naveen's hand.
Yeah.
First, I'm going to take a free action.
Okay.
So I'm going to use my particle collider, and I'm going to spend one of my neutronium
Okay.
for a titanium and I guess a gold. Just take another gold. I don't exactly know what other resource I need. And with my actual action, I'm going to send out an engineer on this final construct action space.
Are you going to construct one of these to get an extra 2 points?
I am.
Okay.
I'm going to construct the one that I'm on.
Yeah.
So then now my evacuation condition will be met. I don't need to build another building. The thing that's nice about it is it
there you go.
occupies 2 spaces.
It does.
It's also worth more points than just a regular yellow building.
It is.
And the fact that it occupies 2 spaces is good for that end game
It
criteria.
is. Yeah. No, it's not bad.
So I have to spend, okay, let's see. It's rescue pods because that's where I'm at in the timeline.
Right.
So I have to spend 2 of my breakthrough tiles because they do not have that triangle one.
Okay, so that.
So square and circle.
Okay.
I also have to spend an energy core,
Yep.
1 titanium because I sent out an engineer,
And 3 water.
3 water. So
Okay,
I have
and
it
you
all
do have it, yeah.
here. I got it eventually.
You did.
I've been eyeing that thing forever.
Since it came out.
Forever. I might have
You
done.
knew about it in round 2 because it was there. You know,
Yeah.
you could see it's coming.
I might have made some really not the best decisions just because I wanted that so much.
Yeah.
Tunnel vision is what that was. So I can place it either here or here.
Mm-hmm.
What do I think? I'm just gonna, I don't think I'm gonna need to get more water. I'll
Okay.
just place it there.
Sure.
So I get 2 points because
do.
of the bonus. I built a super
I'm going to give you a
project
5,
using that.
and then we can take back those 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Here you go.
There we go.
All right. That is my action. Now I've
Well,
pushed your hand.
knowing that you can get out of there,
Yes,
and you
I've met
probably
my
do
condition.
me harm. Let's go ahead and show the world what we've got.
What
We've
do
got
we
a
have?
plan. All right, so in order to escape or evacuate, I need to have the entire red section closed off by red buildings. I could not use one of these to take up 2 spaces. You have to have all 3 red here. So that is done.
Yes.
Then for every set,
so that's gonna score you 6 points.
That's 6 points right there.
Yeah.
So should I just get the 6 now?
Or just let's do the total, I guess.
Okay, sure. Let's do the total. So that's 6 plus. For every one of these, you want 2 scientists. So I have 1, 2, 3. So I need to have 6 scientists.
So it's basically for every set of 1 breakthrough token with 2 scientists.
2 scientists.
Okay.
Yeah, and geniuses cannot count. So we
Right.
have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 showing here, and
6.
6 showing there. So I have 3 sets.
3 multiplier.
So 3 times 4 is 12, plus another 6. That's 18.
18 points.
Bring it.
Ah.
And then when Monique decides, or if she decides to leave, then she'll get 3 less points. Because that's also how that works.
This wasn't even worth it anymore.
It was not.
Honestly. I shouldn't even have evacuated. Why do I care about this? What am I doing?
Well, what's nice about it
What?
is this is a thing.
What's nice, Naveen?
That's a thing, and so is where is it?
This.
That's a thing.
Yeah,
So you're
6
gonna probably
points.
win on 2 of those.
It's not 18, I'll tell you that much. All right, for my last exosuit action, I'm sending out a genius to collect some resources. So this is going to be like an engineer.
Yeah.
That means I get to pull it back. It's going to be a uranium, and I'm going to take the titanium.
Sure.
All right, back to you.
Okay, I thought I was gonna quit, but I have one more free action. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna be a meanie.
What?
Drop it in. We're gonna slip that down.
Oh.
And we're gonna bring these back because I have
Rude.
some other actions that I could do some nice things, I think. There we go. All right, back to you.
Okay, I have some water. I might as well get some more resources. So I have to pay 1 water to gain 2 uranium.
2 of them.
Because this is going to help me power up some exosuits for the next round.
Yes.
There we go. Back to you.
All right, so let's go ahead and drop in a scientist here, knowing that I'm going to get 1 water, and then I'm also going to get a victory point. So can I have 1 water, please?
Yes.
And I'll grab a victory point.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. All right.
Back to you.
Back to me. I do have this one last spot. I do have a gold. I guess I should do it. I should do it. I'm going to place my scientist there, pay a gold, and I get 6 water and a victory
And
point.
you get a victory point.
So
Very
I
good.
need every single point that I can get.
Oh, totally. Yeah. No, that's good.
Honestly.
You have them.
All right. Back to you.
Okay, back to me. So I would like you to have to get a bad token.
Okay.
So I'm going to put this one here, and then I'm just going to remove myself from
The equation.
the equation. Yeah.
Which one would you like to remove?
Let's see. I'm just going to, since I have gold, I'm just going to remove the titanium.
Okay.
That way I can try to deal with that one later. So I do not get the benefit here.
Right. I am out of workers, and I don't have any other free actions that I can take, so that's it for me. I'm passing.
You're passing?
Yeah.
Well, I think I want to get this burden off my back right here.
Oh, okay. So you have to place a worker there.
I
You're
do.
gonna kill them
yeah.
off.
I have to
Unfortunately.
I have to kill off a worker. So I think I'm going to kill off this worker, this engineer. You did great, engineer. It's going to cost me 2 water.
Okay.
And then it's also going to cost me 2 resources of my choice, knowing that I am on the hook for gold over here. I think
Or a neutronium, but you don't have a neutronium. So.
yeah, I don't have a neutronium. So I'm going to spend 1 gold and 1 titanium. Off they go.
All right.
And I'm going to drop this in here. So boom, that goes like that. And then by doing that, I remove the tile, and then the worker itself
Yes.
goes back to the supply.
And now you have
We'll just
one
say it's a
less
supply.
for this end game condition right there, by the way.
But it's negative 3 points. I'd rather
Yeah.
not have negative 3 points.
Right.
And off it goes.
Okay.
There we go.
Anything else, Naveen?
I think I'm officially done.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, that is the end of actions. This is not the end of the game yet
No.
because we still have
2
some
slots.
spaces available. So let's go ahead and take back our workers. I get this person back.
All my
motivated,
scientists come back to me.
and this one, and I believe this one,
And I get this genius
my
back.
genius. Everybody else comes back exhausted.
Yeah. True.
And since we are taking back the workers from these bonus spaces, we actually flip them over. They are destroyed.
Off they go.
So now the only opportunity to construct is going to be using that
The one and only little spot right
that
there.
spot. Same thing really for hiring workers because these are no longer available. There you go. All right, I believe we are done with cleanup.
Right.
We're going to go into what is probably the final round of the game. So
Probably, yeah.
are you ready for round 6?
Yes.
Okay, here we go. Home stretch. So now we move all the way over here, and we're going to reveal the final super project, which is Grand Reservoir. Oh my goodness. Where were you when I needed you? This basically gives you a 1 water discount whenever you need to spend water.
Anytime you spend water, you just get 1 off.
Gosh, that's nice. And it's 6 points.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go ahead and seed the board and everything for probably the final time. All right, we are fully seated in the preparation phase. There is a lot of neutronium. I never had to replace the topmost after the asteroid impact because of those cards that came out.
Wow, no
we also
titanium.
have no geniuses, no spots to hire anymore anyway. We're pretty much going to be focusing over here. Time for me to roll the paradox die because I'm the only one
the only
who's
one.
going to
Yeah.
have to do this.
It's you.
So here we go. Please don't roll 2. That would be hilarious.
2.
1.
1.
May I have 1, please?
All right.
Thank
So I
you.
think you're safe.
I'm safe. I think so. I mean, I
safe.
still need to pay these off, unfortunately.
Yeah, because it's going to be negative 2 points each if
Right.
you don't.
All right, time to power up our exosuits. Do you know how many you're doing?
I think it's, yes, I do.
1, 2, 3,
3.
4. Okay.
All right, yep.
So I'm basically going to go to my free spaces and then
2.
paying resources
3.
for here.
I have to pay these 2 power cores, and I get 1 water, please.
Okay, there you
A
go.
vital water.
I need to figure out which 2 to pay. I guess these 2 blue ones, right? I really haven't needed blue.
Yeah.
So-
You have a way to make blue.
There's that. And then I get 2 water for my troubles. Okay. All right. Warp phase. So let's go ahead and take our warp tiles if you'd like to do any of this stuff. Ready?
Yes.
All right. 1, 2, 3. Nothing.
1.
Because
a single
you do still have to pay it back.
titanium, please.
1, huh?
1 titanium for me.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes. There we go. Sorry.
You're like, you did that?
Spaced out for a second there. Okay.
That's you.
Actions. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to start by, I guess, sending out my genius
Okay.
over here. Get some resources. So I'll take a titanium and a neutronium.
Mm.
All right. Back to you.
Well, that changes everything for me.
Why?
I needed that titanium.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there's no titanium here.
That's it.
It's
yeah.
3
It's just bad.
uranium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that was exactly, I needed that. Well, seeing as this is a vital spot,
Yeah.
I'm just going to go and take it.
You're just going to take it?
Yeah, well, I'm going to score a point by doing it. So I'm going to go here. It's going to cost me 2 water.
Oh, my
I'm
goodness.
sending an administrator there to hire an administrator, which then would come with 1 victory point.
You are nasty. Naveen.
Oh, Monique.
Nasty Naveen.
You knew that was a vital spot right there.
I know,
Yeah.
but I didn't think you would take it.
I had to.
Okay. Well, that's that. No more constructing and hiring, I guess,
Yeah,
says Naveen.
no.
Okay.
That's what I say.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to send my scientist out over here then and take a gold and the other neutronium.
Golden
So,
neutronium, very good.
All right, back to you.
Well, I'd like to set the die, I think. I'd like to take this action
Okay.
right here. So I'm going to set the die to...
You get to set both dice, but it doesn't matter because you can't build anything.
Yeah.
So, what shape would you
I'll
like?
let's just take a square.
A square.
Why not
Do
we
you care
take
what
this?
square?
No,
You
I'll
want
just
this, the
square
DNA helix?
DNA helix.
Square? Okay.
That's exactly what that needs anyway.
Very good.
Perfect. It's just a point.
You can't build it.
No.
But there you go. All right, back to me. As a free action, I am going to do my particle collider.
Exchanging.
Yeah, I'm exchanging. I'm going to exchange 2. Well, I guess the titanium doesn't matter anymore because I can't build anything.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll do 2 titanium for 1 neutronium.
There you go. Oh, you're going to escape with some
I'm
purples.
going to escape. That's the plan.
Yeah.
And then as my action, I'm going to supply so that I have to spend 5 water so I
Okay.
can get all my workers back.
Sure.
So here we go. Come back.
Oh,
We're friends.
There you go.
All right. Back to you.
Okay, back to me.
Yeah.
Well, I might as well monopolize this thing right here and
Mm-hmm.
guarantee the end game. So let's go ahead and do this. I'll put that there. I'll just set this to circle. I'll roll this. And, I just get a circle with the gathering of people. And then I get to remove 2 of these off of my... Oh, you know what? Before I do that,
Yeah.
I would technically take my...
Quotations.
I'll take my free action, which would put a second one on here, plus
Okay.
2 points. And then so that they would both clear off.
Sure.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Those aren't, I don't think those are worth minus points at the end
They're
of the
not,
game,
but
so
it's just
not-
like, just
Yeah.
strategically, had it been on the cusp, I would have taken it. So I get 2 points. I'm going to take a 5 and give back 3 ones.
Oh my
1,
gosh, look at all those
2.
points.
Oh, look. No,
Oh, Naveen.
don't look.
All right.
All right.
Done?
Yep.
Okay, so one of these I have to reserve for evacuating.
That's right.
That is a fact.
Just do it now.
No, I have to. I still have one more. What am I going to spend?
I have no more exosuits, so let's just put it that way. So you could technically do. It's basically resources or this. So you should probably.
Yeah,
go
I'm
and
definitely
get-
going to go here,
Yeah.
but I do need to have resources left over to be able to pay off my debts.
Yes.
So,
Ooh, I see.
which I think I will have enough because I just need to pay back a gold and a neutronium, which leaves me these two.
Okay.
So I am going to send. Oh, I could do it twice. That is why
If you take an administrator,
if I spend an administrator to do
you
that.
can do
Okay.
this twice.
So I will take this action first.
Sure.
So I'm going to send the scientist here, pay 1 water, and that gets me 2 uranium.
Ooh,
Okay, back to you.
interesting.
I'm trying to get as
Actually,
much neutronium as possible.
You're gonna get it. I'm gonna send my administrator to get 5 water, please.
Okay. Here you go.
Thank you.
All right. So I'm going to send my administrator over to trade with the nomads.
Yeah,
Because they're an administrator, I get to do another trade is how
twice.
I'm interpreting this. So I'm just going to do this trade twice. So I'm going to trade 2 uranium and 1 uranium and a gold. And that's going to be for 1 neutronium each. So I can't believe I'm actually making this
Yeah,
happen.
oh boy.
It was feeling really desolate for a while there, but there we go.
You might be good here, Monique.
I don't know about that.
I don't know.
We'll see.
Okay, so let's go ahead and I'm just gonna go back in time. Why not? So I'm
Okay.
gonna go back.
Yeah.
I can go up to 3 spaces. So we're here. So 1, just 1 right here. Mm-hmm. And I owe this gold. So here's my gold.
Okay.
So off this goes.
Yep.
And then I move up like that.
Very good.
All right, back to you.
All right. I think it is time. I don't think there's another way for me to gain more neutronium.
Okay.
So it's probably time for me to evacuate. This is going to be the final round for sure, by the way, because Naveen took both of those action spaces.
I did.
So I guess I might as well send a scientist. Not that it really super matters. I'm going to go here. It's going to be minus 3 points. We didn't put out the token, but it is minus 3
We'll
points.
just take 3 away from what
You're supposed to put one of your people to represent, one of your tokens to represent that you evacuated earlier.
Yeah, that was me
And I
earlier.
do the same thing.
Okay.
So because I have my rescue pods, it basically makes it so that I have met my evacuation condition, even though I didn't. This is so hard for me for some reason.
Yeah.
And I still scored the 3 points for that. So let's just subtract those 3 points.
You don't get those 3. How about that?
Okay.
Okay.
And then I get 3 points for each of my neutroniums. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Look
so
at that.
18. We matched.
How did you do that?
I still am pretty confident that I'm not going to win this game, but at least it's not going to be as abysmal
15.
as it was looking earlier.
17 and 18 buccarinos.
Thank you. Woohoo!
No.
5, 10, 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay. There's that.
All right. Very good. So
Yeah,
that
I think
that
that's
was
it for
the
me.
action, yeah?
Yeah, that was the action. Goes back to you.
All right, let's go ahead and bring some people home.
Hmm.
So let's make them happy. So I'm going to do this.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to cost me 8. So here's 10. Can I have 2 back?
Okay. 10, 2 back. Oh, wow. Are you maxing that out?
I'm maxing it out.
Yeah, so
I was
that's
already
7
maxed out,
points
so
for
I
you.
purposely went down to like do some other things earlier.
Mine is 0 points.
And
So
these are going
that's
to come all the way back. So yeah, it's worth 7 points for me.
very good.
Okay, back to you.
Well, I am going to send my engineer back in time. So now that I have all this stuff, I might as well repay my debts, my dues.
Okay,
So I'm going back 1 space, and I'm going to spend a neutronium
now that you have it.
to pay this back. And I think you can only do one
One.
per time travel action.
Oh, look at
So
you.
that pushes me up forward 1. All right, back to you.
Oh, you're going to do it.
Huh?
That's pretty good. All right. So, I'm going to go ahead and get 1 water and 1 point.
Okay, here you go.
Thank you.
Ooh, it's getting intense. All right, are you done?
That's that.
Okay,
Back to
I'm
you.
going to send. Oh my gosh, I'm 1 worker short. That is hilarious. I'm 1 worker short of this 1 point.
Oh, yeah.
That is so funny. I only have 2 workers left. So I'm going to spend another 1 to go back in time. And from what I understand, you always start from the origin tile. So I can still do this,
Yes.
basically to pay off my last one.
Which
by
is good. That's an
spending a
extra,
gold.
4 points extra, and you're going to edge me out here.
Yeah. So I'm at the 12 points for time
That's a
travel.
sequence swing. Dang it. Oh, man.
All right,
You might be good here, Monique. I don't know.
back to you. It's going to be
Sheesh.
closer than I
It's
had
gonna be
previously
closer than you
imagined, but I
thought.
still don't think it's enough.
Yeah. And just to make it look real nice, I'm going to go ahead and slip this on here, and I'm going to pluck this off.
Oh,
Might
okay.
as well. I don't get any credit for it, but I had no way to go back in time to handle it.
Yeah, at the very end of the game, you can pay it back to prevent yourself from losing any points, because any warp tiles that are left here, I believe, -2 points.
-2, yeah.
So at least this way you don't have to pay for it.
Yeah, and then if it ever goes to tiebreaker, I'll have one more resource than everything else.
You're definitely going to win the tiebreaker because it's water is a tiebreaker resource.
Okay.
It's not going to go to a tie, but if it does, it'll be water.
Okay.
Because I'm going to spend my last action
Are you getting the
killing off my genius.
Yeah, you did it.
Yeah, with my anomaly over
You had
here.
just
So
the right amount of workers on this one.
it's two water,
Yeah.
and one
Purple.
purple. So boom. Oh, last round I went to that action spot just to take it,
Yeah.
but I ended up needing
You needed
that
it,
exact
yeah.
amount of workers. So
That -3's off you. That's not good.
yeah, and it's still. I think I still have
you have
enough
enough buildings.
spaces for that one over there.
Yeah, I think you're winning 3 of those 5.
All right, that's a good sign.
That is a good sign.
Okay, back to you.
I think that is it. I think that is officially all of it.
Okay, same here. I'm done. So we're gonna both pass.
Okay.
And that is the end of the game.
That's
Really,
the end of
because
Anachrony.
actions are done, and these are supposed to come back. These two would get destroyed, and that signals the end of the game. So let's not even
We don't have to do any cleanup.
Okay, we're not gonna take these back. Let's just go straight to end game scoring. It has been a long day.
It's been a long game.
It has
yeah.
been a long game, a long journey, and we need to find out which path is going to be the leader
The most
into the future.
victorious. All right, find out.
I'm going to use the score sheet here, okay? And of course, before you start scoring, if you have any warp tiles left over at that point, you can pay them off to prevent the -2 points.
Right.
But our entire timeline is clean.
We wiped it. Yeah.
Good job there. So first things first, how many points did you score just from buildings?
Just from buildings.
I scored 4 plus 3 is 7, 8, 9, 10.
10.
Because it
Okay.
does not count your super projects.
So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Okay. Now, super projects.
0.
So I have these two, which is a total of 12.
Yeah. 0.
You also deduct points for your anomalies, but it looks like neither of us had
cleared it
any
off.
in the end.
Yeah, you cleared it off at your very last turn.
Very good. Now, how many points did you get just on time travel? I have 12.
Yeah, so we had an asymmetric, so mine is 8.
Oh, okay.
8.
What about your morale? I'm at a nice 0.
7. I
Oh.
maxed it out.
That's good. Then we have breakthrough tiles. I just have 1. So it's 1 point per tile, and then an additional 2 points if you complete a set of all 3 shapes.
Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, plus a whole set to make it
7?
8. Oh, a 7. Yeah, 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, how many points, like physical points, do you have? It looks like I have 5, 10, 15, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4.
You have 24. I have 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 29.
29.
9.
And then let's go ahead and score our end game objectives.
Yeah.
So let's go with this one first. It's the whoever is further on the time travel
That's
track.
Monique.
So that's going to be me. I'm just going to put my chit there.
Sure.
Most number of super projects.
Also you.
This is most number of spaces covered, I think.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to your
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah, 8. That worked out.
Okay, you take that. That's the morale track.
Most on this, so yeah.
Okay.
And then most of these breakthrough
Breakthrough
tokens.
tiles.
So
I
I
take
get 6 and you get 9.
6 and 9.
Okay. Only 3 swing on those.
All right.
Math.
I'm just going to go ahead and do some math, and then I'll get back to you. with our final
I hope I
scores.
won.
All right. Final scores are in, and it is Naveen with 66 to me with 68.
What? What?
I don't know.
Oh, come on.
I hope I did the math right. Let me know if I was wrong there, but I
can't
cannot
believe it.
believe it. I thought I was surely
Oh.
I was gonna lose.
2 points? Dang.
2 points.
That's one of those end games because it's a 6-point
Wow.
swing. That was close
Shocked.
though. Last time we played, the one right before this, it was 65-65, and I won on a tiebreaker.
And Naveen won a tiebreaker. Is this the first game of Anachrony I've won against you? I think it might be.
Maybe, yeah, on
Yeah.
camera. Wow.
Wow. Sorry. I really thought you
I
had
could
it.
have swore, but when you were able to get that much purple and you got the tile that lets you escape without having to build out your
Yeah,
yellow.
that was such a problem for
What
me.
a good
be-
tile to have.
To be
for
honest,
you.
halfway through the game, I thought that my score was going to be abysmal. But the fact that I was able to get the rescue pods and then get a bunch of neutronium, I think did
You
it.
had a neutronium converter, and had that rescue pod not been one of the 7 that just showed up,
Yeah.
I don't think you would. There's no way.
It showed up really early. No, because I could just build another power plant.
The power plants, they cost 2 purple every time, so it's
Yes,
possible.
yes.
Yeah, so it would have detracted, but
It would have been harder for me to
harder.
score the 3 points on the neutronium.
And then you would have 2 less covering up for most buildings.
Yes,
because the pod, so yeah.
I think the difference truly was in the last round.
That last round,
Getting
yeah.
a bunch of the neutronium in the last 2 rounds, and then being able to go back in time and then take a few of those endgame
and you used
criteria.
Amina's ability as is supposed to be.
I did. I
Yeah.
was really worried about that because, okay, to tell you the truth, this was really hard for me in the beginning. I feel like I really struggled finding the synergy. This game is all about synergies. And this is my first time playing as Sunwalker Amina. And that plus the combo of the asymmetric player board, when you use this leader with the A side, it's great because 2 of those spaces are going to be free after the asteroid impact.
Yes.
But I really had a hard time, even since the beginning, even before the asteroid impact, I had a hard time figuring out what combination of resources should I have and leave behind in order to power up my exosuits. And then when the asteroid impact happened, it was the same problem.
I think a big change for you in this particular play was when you finally found something that got you water.
Yeah.
That was huge because you were at -8 at one point, and then you pulled it all the way.
Yeah.
That took how many rounds? 1, 2, 3, 4, almost like 5 rounds.
Bringing the workers
to
back.
bring it all the way back from that -8 to 0,
Right.
which is big.
Yeah.
You know?
That was tough.
In a game where the margin was 2, had you been short by 1, you would have been at 66,
minus
66. Yeah.
Exactly.
So yeah, once you found that, then that worked out for you.
That was really close.
Nice
Really,
game.
really
Good job.
close.
Yeah. That was really good.
All right. So let's talk about it, shall we?
Yes, let's do it.
Okay. So this is the first time we played Anachrony on our channel. This is not the first time that we played it, though.
Right, yeah.
I think I played Anachrony when it first came out, which was in
You played it a couple times when it first came out.
2017. Yeah. And I think I played through 2 of the modules that the original Kickstarter came with. I think it came with 3 modules, which are now a part of the classic expansion. Initially, we were going to consider incorporating at least one of those modules, but we figured because this is our first playthrough of the game, we don't know what form of the game people have at home, and the most likely scenario is that you'll at least have the base game.
The bare bones, yeah.
Yeah. So if anybody wants to play like exactly the same format that we did, you'll be able to.
Yeah, minus like the upgraded components and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
like gameplay wise, even if you somehow don't have that shit that blocks off, that's the one module that we like played with, or the modifier was blocking off the variant. Yeah.
Yes. And you can do that
you
with the
can totally
version
do
that you have.
Yeah.
So we are going to be doing a second playthrough of this game with the Fractures of Time expansion. And at that point, we're going to consider including just some other stuff that,
A few other things.
that we want to do for fun. But that is going to be a lot more of a complicated playthrough, it seems. So anyway, Anachrony. Wow. What a game,
It's
right?
a great game. Yeah. I really enjoy it.
It's a lot. Like this is a big looking game. If you were to play this bare bones without anything, it's actually it's not actually as complicated as it seems at first glance. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely. The first within the first 2 rounds of your very first play, you can kind of see like, oh, that's how that action works. That's how gathering the resources is.
Yeah.
Oh, I need the resources to build the building.
Yeah.
The building gives me my own little engine. So then how do I manage my workers to be able to put them into those buildings efficiently and then bring them back by having enough water, basically.
Yes. It's about playing it well, finding those certain synergies, and being able to zag when other players are taking actions that you need. That is the hard part of the game.
Oh, yeah.
But the thing I think that at least I struggled with initially is maybe it's the theme, but just the look of it and just the sound of it and the concepts are a lot more complicated sounding than the actual gameplay is.
Yeah.
If you were to strip down this game to its bare bones, it is worker placement with 3 main spots. You're either building, getting more workers, or you're taking breakthrough tiles, which you're really not going to be doing a whole lot of at the very beginning of the game.
Thing.
Yeah, the main focus is building. That construct action is probably the main core focus of the game.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Worker placement, resource management, engine building, because you're going to build your own little kind of that 4x3 grid that you have over there. Like that's basically essentially what you're going to do. So
Yes.
and then technically worker management at that
Yes,
point.
and I think that's the other half of the game.
Yeah.
Right? That's the other layer that sort of makes it strategically difficult.
Yeah.
Because every action has a certain rule as to like which worker you can place out, what benefit it's going to give you, which workers aren't allowed to go there. And then on top of that, you have to juggle with making sure that they're all motivated so that you can still use them in the next round.
Yeah.
That part's hard.
There's times like where you have like just one worker left that's motivated, and you're like, there's a building out there, or like there's a space I really want to go to, but if I spend this person there, then I'm gonna have to do the mean part, by putting out the free token and then bringing everybody back. That struggle that it like the tension that it puts on you to like, well, I guess you're gonna have to skip out on that action because you need to get all your workers out so you can make the 4 other actions that you have your exosuits ready for that much better. So timing of like when to take a spot, everything is kind of, it's nice, especially in a 2-player game. It's like, fine, if you build, I will take the most prime resources. But what might be the most prime resources for me in this round might not be the most prime resources for you. So it's like, I'm going to go there. It's unideal because I know I'm not going to take that neutronium because I don't really, really need that. I need 2 titanium. So it's like, when can I time it right? But what if she's going to take the titanium?
Right.
So it's a nice kind of brain melt, and it's a good weight for me. Like it's heavy, but also, like you said, very simple at the same time. In terms of like structure.
It's a very interesting puzzle.
Yeah.
The very first time I played it, I just want to say this is not a one-play kind of game. Like the very first time I played it, it felt a lot lighter than it does now, and I think it's because the first time I played it, it really seemed to me like the bare bones of like, oh, it's very simple. It's a worker placement game. You just put it out there, you build buildings.
I wonder if it's because you didn't realize it the first time you played it, that like how much interconnectivity there is.
Yeah, that's exactly it. The first time I played the game, and the first time anybody's gonna play this, it's like the strategies don't unfold immediately.
Definitely
the depth
first play
of the game starts to really unravel the more you play it. And the more I play this game, the more I enjoy it, actually. Every decision is important, and every decision is very impactful, as simple as it may sound, down to which warp tile am I going to put out there, or how many exosuits? Oh my gosh, that is the hardest question. How many exosuits am I going to power up this round? And
clearly the free ones, you're like, well, of course I'm going to do the free ones. Because even if I don't put them out, it was free. It's when it's like, oh, my asymmetry is like, well, I could spend a resource. I don't have any power. I don't have any of those energy cores. So, I'm going to spend a resource here. Am I going to net back the right amount? So I'm going to put a warp tile out, and then how am I going to get that to be paid off in time to move up a track so that I can edge you out on the end game scoring cards that are out there?
Yeah, it's like a puzzle that you're continuously trying to solve, but while you're solving it, you're creating more issues for yourself, right? You're just creating constantly more things for you to solve, and you're supposed to get to an ending state at some point, but you don't know what that's going to look like. Like I was mentioning at the end of our gameplay, a third of the way through the game, I thought, this is awful. I'm doing awful. I'm just going to give up because I just felt like I was wasting so many opportunities and I was miscalculating so much. But it just goes to show that you can still find a way, especially in a 2-player game, I will say. Player count does matter in this game. But I guess, so starting with theme, theme is one of the things that this game really leans into. There's a whole story. There's a lot of lore, I think, that goes into the game. I think they should just make a graphic novel, honestly.
It would be nice,
I would read that. I'm a big graphic novel fan, and a lot of the theme surrounding this kind of reminds me of novels such as like Saga. It's like a whole world. And all of the different paths have so much personality that leads to a lot of asymmetry. So once you play the game the first time on the A side, and you kind of figured out like, okay, this is kind of what the game is wanting me to do, then you flip it over to the B side, and now it's a whole other wrinkle. Right.
Yeah. So we've played, I think I've played as 3 or 4 of these. I think I might have played of all the factions, but never exactly all the combos with like the A side with one character and the B side. Each path also comes with a second, in the base game, comes with a second character. So like my asymmetry in this one was all my scientists act like geniuses. But if I don't use this patron and I have somebody else, then it's a completely different asymmetric action. So how he's able to balance it, because all of our scores every time we play are within a margin of
It's very tight.
Like I said, last time we played, it was tied, and it came down to who had the most water. This time, difference of 2, and in the time before that, I think it was less than 4, something like that. So it's with all these different things. It's still somehow, whenever we play, we're passing right around the same time. We're also within a tight grouping of the scores. So I don't know. It's really interesting how he's able to balance these out.
Which makes these buildings, like there are buildings that get you like 1 point for taking the action. And it doesn't sound like a lot, but it does make these a lot more, in the big scheme of things.
I ended up using that tile, the one that I was like, I don't know if I'm going to use it much, 3 times in this game to get me 6 points. And so that was, we were only off by 2. So without having something like that, that was big. Also, the game can kind of change as the tiles come out. I was able to take more actions in the 6th round, which ended up being the very last round of the game, because the previous round I was able to buy a building that got me the energy cores. Had I not had that building, then I would probably put out 2, maybe just 1 exosuit at the very end.
So that's the thing that's really interesting. Yeah, the snowball effect, right? Like one decision that you made in round 3 can somehow greatly impact what you did in round 5 or 6, and I know that can be true for any game,
games,
but in this game in particular, it's especially true. In talking about player count, I think honestly 2 players is my favorite player count for this. 3
it's nice going back and forth. It's nice getting your turn again, like quick.
It's just that 3 and 4 feel very tight. Because
I have not played it at 4.
I've played it at 4 before, and it's like it's a long time before it gets back to you. Granted, it is the other side of the board, but it is just a long time, and the game becomes significantly longer. In a 3-player game, you use the same side of the board as we did in our gameplay, which makes it really tight. Now, we did block off one of the World Council spots to make our gameplay just a little bit tighter, but it's not going to be as tight as in a 3-player game.
The 3-player game feels really tight because there's only 2-2-2 still spots, and in a 4-player game, it's 3-3-3. So, you're going to probably end up... I definitely, in 3-player games, have powered up exosuits thinking I was going to get more actions than I really do yet.
Yeah. So for anybody out there, I know there are a lot of people who kind of enjoy watching the channel who play 2-player games. This is a great 2-player game. You can definitely get, I feel like, the full experience at 2. The only thing that you sort of lose out on are the warp tile part. Because when you're kind of counting on how many warp tiles to put out, you can really just kind of make it like meta. You can get into each other's heads.
Yeah,
and
it's like, well, I need these 2 things. It's okay. I'll just take the 2.
Yeah, you can really play off that part of it. In 4-player games, that part of it becomes a lot more interesting and much more difficult.
I will say endgame scoring, though, in higher player counts for me is more interesting because it's like if you get in the buildings and the what are these called, the long ones, like
the super project,
the super projects. Well, they basically act like more space on buildings. So it's like you kind of double down on like, well, getting these is going to take more space. So therefore, I'm going to score both of those things, in that one kind of effort. So in a higher player count, there's more jockeying for it. So it's not a full 6-point swing, kind of like if you fail on one of those end game scoring. Because it might be 3 points to this person, 3 points to that person. It's just the kind of balance.
The scoring distribution is a little bit different, definitely. In terms of replayability, this game has a ton of variability. Just so much that you can do with it. And that's just with the base game because of all of the asymmetry in terms of the paths, as well as you can flip this board over. You're actually supposed to play the random side, and it gives you a different evacuation condition, as well as a different starting resources and workers. And then you have all the different leaders to choose from. On top of that, if you backed it, I guess, with the original Kickstarter, you most likely have the modules that come with the classic expansion. And that's going to include a lot of different things that actually change the way that the game works. Like, I think, if I remember correctly, the Doomsday module can add a new endgame condition entirely. There's a module where you go adventuring. And then I know that there's one of the modules that we were considering playing with this is the Guardians, I think it's called.
It gives you your own like asymmetric.
You can hire an exosuit, a neutral exosuit that each round you can choose to send to that council board, which basically allows you to take one of the 3 world capital actions. And so that makes it a little bit easier for you to take those actions in a 2-player game if you're completely shut out because you blocked out the other world council spot. We decided not to play with it just so you can see what the bare bones Anachrony looks like, and also because we wanted it to be tighter. In addition to that, you can flip over these timeline tiles for I forgot what these are called. Are these variable timelines?
Something
basically,
like that,
it gives you a benefit or a penalty for placing warp tiles, and you have to place them in a certain order, depending on player count and player turn order, and you can play with that side as well. So there's a lot going on, and that's honestly a little bit of a barrier for some people. I know for us, when we were getting back into Anachrony, it was a bit difficult. It was a bit of a bear to sort of set up.
I think I had first
figure
played
out.
it in like 2017 or 2018 one time at a convention, and then I hadn't played it for 5 years until leading up to getting ready for this. And then now we've played it a handful of times. And yes, it was a brand new teach for me. It was like, I did not remember that at all. But yeah, it's such a good game. Like I'm really, really enjoying our plays leading up to this filming. And then I'm now excited to expand the game even further because I'm not like, it's not like I've grown tired of like this base game. Like this is an absolutely fantastic game by itself. But so many people have said that the Fractures of Time expansion take this game to the next level, and I do not have as much experience with that, so I'm really excited to explore that now and see exactly where this is going to end up ranking for me overall.
Yeah, and that's probably just more ability to make more decisions that'll lead to more problems that you need to solve, right? Because that's the heart of this game. So in the end, I actually really enjoy this game a lot more than the first time I played it. Like Naveen was mentioning, we had to play it a few times to get ready for this, and this ended up being a really long playthrough. So I don't know what it's going to look like in the end, but one of my favorite things is probably the synergies. You know, we touched upon that earlier, but that is what at the heart of this game, you're just trying to find a means to an end that keeps on going. Like,
a way to pay back your loans. I mean, just that simple. This is essentially a loan.
Right. The loan mechanism.
It's a loan mechanism, and just the ability to synergize and find ways to use those raw materials to build part of your engine to go back in time to then pay that off at the right time to then score points. Like that synergy for me it's really, really fun.
Yeah, and there are only so many resources in the game. There are only 4 different types of workers in this base gameplay, but the combination of everything that you can do, as well as the variety in the buildings, and figuring out how am I going to construct my own little player mat, I guess.
World almost.
My own world, exactly, of action spaces that only I can take. That'll really make, I guess, maximize my points. Right. That puzzle is just so good. And I think that's really what makes Anachrony sing, I guess. So final verdict?
Yeah, really, really good. This one will definitely be staying in the collection for sure. We have the big box. We just need to find a nice spot for it. It's kind of big.
All right. So next up, we have the Fractures of Time expansion. It is going to take us a little bit of time. If it took us this long to get this going, it's going to take us a little bit more time to be able to play the expansion as well as any modules that we want to include. But stay tuned for that video.
Well, there you have it. That is Anachrony, the base game. Thank you all so much for watching the video. We hope you enjoyed it. If you'd like to see more videos like this in the future, please consider subscribing.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.